This episode of the Loincloth Hour is dedicated to the late and talented Ed Asner, the man who voiced Hudson in Gargoyles. He is also well known for his roles in movies such as Up, other TV shows such as CSI Miami, and he's even played Santa Claus a bunch of times, which is fitting because he also plays a bearded character on the Gargoyles. He was also a very strong political activist for the Democratic Party. He is also well known for his activism involving nonprofit organizations such as the Survivor Mitzvah Project, Exceptional Minds, a nonprofit school for young adults on the autism spectrum, and just all around, he seemed like a really great guy. So, of course, this loss hit me and Croup as well as the Gargoyles community very hard. Even some members of my family remembered him from movies such as Up and were very disheartened to hear of his passing. So, I'd like to dedicate this episode of our stupid gay nerding rant show to Edward Astor, as he's a topic of conversation in a lot of this episode. In regards to the great person he was, I'd like to pop a couple donation links in the description of this episode for any viewers or listeners or whatever who are interested in donating to nonprofit organizations. So, thank you for listening, thank you for supporting, etc., etc. I hope you enjoy. Are we ready to delve into this Gargoyles
I think
episode?
I'm prepared to fully delve.
I did something that'll surprise you. I actually took a bunch of notes.
Man, are they? Ooh, I'm very intrigued. A bunch of notes.
Yes. Like, I actually like this episode better than I
Okay,
thought I
Huron
would.
said the same thing.
I did, yes.
Like,
I remember it being worse.
I like this episode less than I remember liking it. So
What?
this is good. Now we
Why?
can have a healthy debate about whether this episode
Oh,
is good or
goodness.
There's
Okay, so, like,
controversy.
I vaguely... Okay, so I remember last episode I said I vaguely remember this episode because they barely aired it, and you told me, I think at some point, that the animation was worse than the one with Macbeth's, but it was also a Hudson-focused episode, which I was looking forward to. So I am, like, immensely more attracted to Hudson after finishing this episode.
I mean, Hudson is pretty good in this episode.
Hudson is
Yeah,
great in
he's-
this episode. Are you
Like,
kidding?
he's not animated very well, but he looks good anyway.
I
guess it's
I
it's
barely
hard to make
noticed.
Hudson not look hot, I think is what it is.
I barely noticed. Hudson looked great throughout the entire episode. I don't know.
I mean, to me, this episode is animated about as well as like the average season 2 episode will be. I feel like this is what we can expect.
I
from
don't
the rest of
know.
the show.
Look, I honestly didn't have a problem. I mean, there were a few scenes where it's like I noticed like the animation was a bit wonky looking, but not as bad as Macbeth's in the
I
slightest.
think I like Macbeth's a little bit more because at least like it's so bad, but at least it's like interesting in that it is really bad. Like Long Way to Morning, which by the way is the episode we're going to cover today, like is not like that level of bad, but it's just sort of like bland looking, I guess. Although that said, they do have several ambitious things they do try to do in this episode as well.
Yeah.
This episode has my favorite action sequence we've probably covered today.
Yeah, I know exactly
So-
what you mean. But okay, I guess we should
Yeah.
introduce ourselves. Welcome to the Loincloth Hour, a podcast where two nerds, except it's three this time, talk about cartoons and the day stuff that happens in them. And I am Manicorn.
Hello, Manicorn.
Sid, who are you?
I'm Sid.
And we're also joined by a third member, Hiron.
Hi again, those who've been listening.
Hello,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hiron, by the way, that you only come in for like the bad episodes.
I was here for Deadly
What? This
Force.
episode's good. This episode
Like,
was good.
Last
I'm
time you were here for
sorry.
Enter Macbeth, and now you're here for Long Way to Morning.
Well, that's just a fact that unfortunately the second half of season 1 is one of the weakest points in the
Oh
entire
my god!
series.
Like I looked ahead, and like the next two episodes also are just like they just sort of both made me groan. Like, I don't want to watch them. But, like season 1 started off, like, so good. Because they have that 5-parter, then they have the PAX intro episode.
Yeah.
And then, like, they had,
Yeah.
like, other ones, but, like, the end of it is just, like,
They had Timona and Brooklyn, and then we had Deadly Force.
yeah, like, both of which are really good.
Yeah.
But, you
Yeah.
know...
Well, Deadly Force is better.
I do want to say something before we, like, dive into this ep, which is that, so as you may know, listeners, Ed Asner passed away this past week, who we know here as the voice of Hudson. Outside the Gargoyles fandom, he's primarily known for playing Lou Grant on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But honestly, like, I looked up his filmography, and it goes on for, like, 7 pages. Like, he has done so much work. Chances are, if you've watched TV, like, in the last 60 years, you've probably seen him in something.
My brother actually came to me yesterday after he found out, like, because he voiced the old man in Up,
Yeah,
apparently.
that was one of his roles.
And he came up to me and he told me about that. I'm like, yeah, I actually heard about that a few days ago. I remember him as Hudson
he
in
was Hudson.
Gargoyles.
For
but
me,
yeah.
he also does Sergeant Cosgrove in Freakazoid, which is another role I think he was, like, absolutely perfect in. But yeah, like, you, the listener, should just look him up. Like, he's been in so many things, both live action and cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah, very talented voice actor, and I guess just, like, actor, and in some cases...
Yeah, like, and not only does he have, like, a huge body of work, he was also very left-wing in his politics, and, like, he was actually, like, an activist, to the extent he's publicly said that when his Lou Grant series was canceled in 1982, he said it was due to how left-wing his politics were, like, very publicly known to be. He was president of the Screen Actors Guild for, like, quite a while. He was very pro-union. I think he played a role, actually, in the Screen Actors Guild strike in 1980, which afforded better wages for TV writers. He was a member of the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, which is a fantastic organization that protects free speech, specifically for comic book writers. And sorry, said I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. You were still going.
I'm on a roll. He just seems like a really stand-up guy in general. Like, I know he definitely brings the character of Hudson to life, like, really well, and we're just all going to miss him. So I just wanted to say that, and also that it's appropriate that the episode we're about to do is a Hudson-focused episode, even though I think it does suck. But but that's not Ed Asner's fault. It's he does a great job.
No, all the voice actors are fantastic in this episode.
So, with that being said, do you just want to get into this episode?
Let's fuck this episode up. Let's rip it to pieces and smash them to the ground like the trash they are.
No, I liked this episode. Shush up.
We'll see how much you still like it after I point out all the ways that it's bad.
Okay, so this episode, Long Way Till Morning, it literally opens up and suddenly we're back in 990-something Scotland.
It's 984 AD. Which
knew
means
it.
It takes place 10 years before all the Gargoyles get turned to stone permanently.
It actually means 13 years before.
Yes.
How so?
So it was isn't
984. But yeah, but they get turned to stone in 994.
Oh, okay. I thought that was 997.
No. I looked it up.
Yeah,
according to
something
the
like
Dark
that.
Wiki, which I assume is correct.
It usually is.
Yeah. And we also have our friend Remy, who's messaging us all the timeline
Yeah,
stuff.
if we fuck up,
I mean,
he will email us and correct us, and I hope he does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not worried.
So, we see a child, a younger variant of Princess Catherine
bitch.
from this fucking bitch. Like, I know we were just dying to revisit this complex character again. She's being tucked into bed by her dad, Prince Malcolm. Apparently her dad was kind of a douchebag because he's like telling her that the gargoyles would get her if she stayed up past her bedtime
Yeah,
or
so
something.
like we see that there's a reason for how she acts in that 5 part.
Yeah, I guess that's supposed to
Yeah, like
explain
she's
her
racist
like
'cause her dad told
racism.
her scary stories about gargoyles.
No, but it's like her dad literally has a positive relationship with the gargoyle, so there's no reason for him to be doing this shit at
it
all.
makes no sense. I do want to point out before he starts telling her stories that she has a really funny line where she's like, "But father, I want to stay up for the feast. I'll miss the troubadours and the jugglers." I just thought it was. Really
Oh, I
funny.
completely. I did not even listen. I tune everything she says out of my
I'd
head.
like to point out one other important thing about this scene is that it tells us as the watcher for the first time just how young Catherine was in the first 5-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like how young is she supposed to be here? Like 7, maybe. I don't.
Yeah, she
So
looks like she's between 7 and 10.
So I
which
guess
means...
she's like 18 to 20. I guess in that 5-parter then.
She's not as old as we initially think she is in the
But she has
pilot.
like an air of
She's like,
maturity in that 5-parter.
Yeah, but she also acts...
well, no,
It's just the weight of the crown.
she acts like a spoiled
well,
brat.
yeah,
Yeah.
but she acts like she's an adult woman acting like a spoiled brat. If that made sense.
Dude, I don't know. Fucking royalty just be like that sometimes. Okay, no. So as he's saying, this to her, Hudson suddenly appears to converse with him about some recent events
and
that have
Catherine
happened
like
at the castle.
gasps when she sees Hudson's shadow because her father had just finished telling her like a scary story, like if you
Oh
don't
my
behave,
God.
the gargoyles will come and get you. So like then the gargoyle immediately shows up and she's like, ah!
And then, the dad's like, no, it's fine. And then he goes out to talk with Hudson. And Hudson, like, okay, hold on. Like, he's literally like, why are you threatening your daughter
He's
about
like,
us?
Can you
That's
not do that,
cool.
Baby? Like, why are you saying that? And the prince is just like, oh, you're too. He says you're too sensitive. Just like.
It's like, I'm sure this
God.
won't impact her in any
or
way.
like impact the entire kingdom. Like it won't just eventually lead to your entire clan being destroyed, Hudson. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, I hate how he just like he doesn't even give like a long-winded explanation. He just like brushes it off like you're too sensitive. Like there's like that's it. You literally cause all this bullshit to happen because of your ignorance. I don't know. I could nitpick on this asshole
actually
for
reminded
hours,
me
but
actually of my own childhood. I had a little sister, and we had a family dog at the time, and I would tell her. I don't remember why I told her this, but like I was just making stuff up, and I was like, "Hey, like, I think I was like, if you don't lock your door at night, the dog will come into your room and like eat your face." I think I told her, and I don't remember why I said this.
That's
but I
so
found
funny.
out years later that she had like been so terrified by the idea of that she like never let our dog into her room ever again. Our dog, who by the way was
my
like one of the
God.
most loving creatures I've ever met. So I felt
my
awful about
God.
that. But that's like that goes to show you, I guess, that like things you tell kids can have like a serious effect on them because they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like it's like Into the Woods. Just be careful the stories you tell children.
I haven't seen that musical.
Or
I was
something.
literally just listening to
It's
Into the
so
Woods,
good.
like 2 days
For
ago.
you.
Like I like the stage performance they did. That was like the first performance of Into the Woods. I'm getting on another subject. It's a really good musical.
Thanks.
Like to clarify, I mean the Broadway adaptation of Into the Woods, and not the movie with Johnny Depp as the wolf. That don't watch that version. They're literally talking about how they just banished some archmage because he tried to use magic to usurp the king's
It's
throne.
the Archmage.
And whatever, man. And literally, as it's like speak of the devil, because as they say this, the archmage appears on like the balcony.
Where did he
shows up.
appears there.
He shows up and like what happens?
Okay, wait, hold on. The way he
you
shows
can
up though
explain.
reminded me so much of the way Demona shows up places.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about him, and Prince Malcolm is saying, like, yes, he tried to use magic to usurp my throne. Let him dare to return. And the Archmage, like, interrupts him and says, and you will die, pompous fool! Which is, like, exactly how Demona interrupts, like, every scene ever. Just, like, appears, has, like, a fucking awesome one-liner, and then fucks things up.
Yeah.
Like, the Archmage, I think, is where she got that from.
Yeah.
This is like...
She was the Archmage's apprentice.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
although we don't learn that in this episode.
Oh, true.
But, like, he teaches her magic. I think they must have hung out together a lot. And she's like, I like your fucking style, because you're very extra and very amazing.
So, this Archmage shows up, and he attacks with some lightning zappy powers, and zaps Hudson off to the side. And Hudson attempts to save Prince Malcolm before the Archmage just straight up shoots, like, a poison blow dart.
But he lifts up... Okay, so he has a lawn staff.
Like a
he's
full-size
because he's a
wizard
wizard.
staff. It's
then-
big. Really big.
But then he lifts the staff up to his mouth, and, like, it's actually a giant blow dart gun. Which, like... what...
Everything is
Like,
happening
so
so
much
fast. Like, we're not
happens.
even, we're not even, like, a full 2 minutes
He's
into
already
this
used
episode, and
magic,
all
so
this
I don't
has
know why he
happened.
can't just blast the prince with his lightning powers, which he's already
No,
displayed.
because we need a plot-oriented reason for, like, Hudson to, like, go on a journey to
fucking
save him.
random, and he just... Oh my god.
But and it doesn't even make it look like it should work, because he's holding up this giant staff to his mouth, and this tiny little dart comes out of the bottom.
It's like a 7-foot-long blow dart gun.
I didn't take notes on any of this. I didn't bother with the small details in my notes, so it's good that you guys were
'Cause
aware
this whole,
of
like,
how
every
his
time I
staff
watch
is
this
also
scene,
a
I go,
blowgun.
what the fuck? Like, it's like, so somehow I forget about the blow dart thing until I watch it again, and then it all comes back to me, and I'm like, why is this happening? Oh my god. Anyway, so Hudson, like, tries to prevent the dart from hitting Prince Malcolm, but he can't. Prince Malcolm gets hit. He's like, oh, he falls over. The Archmage, like, laughs very maniacally, and then he just, like, falls off the castle walls, like,
Dramatically.
very dramatically, because of course he does. And Hudson just had, like, a really derpy look on his face.
Hello?
I remember. He's like, "Ooh."
So, Prince Malcolm is, like, got a dart in his chest, and he's just, like, on the ground, and Hudson is by his side trying to, like, help,
Hudson
but then,
is
like,
holding
his
him very
fucking
tenderly.
Hudson is very comfortable with
Okay,
holding men, as I've
do you-
learned in this whole
Do
episode.
you think that Hudson and Prince Malcolm had some sort of relationship together?
I don't know if Prince Malcolm is Hudson's type.
I feel like any man is Hudson's type. Like, he'll do you whatever you are. He'll service you.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, he'll service.
Full
I mean,
service. Oil change, everything.
You're telling me that Hudson on the side is changing Prince Malcolm's oil?
Picture Hudson in, like, a hot mechanic's outfit. Like, overalls, one strap is hanging down, like, grease stains, he's holding a wrench. Like, tell me that's not a good image to have.
That's a good image. So, anyways, Prince Malcolm's, like, bitchy daughter comes outside, and, like, she's freaked
She's
out,
like,
and
Daddy
she, like,
alone.
and she, like, punches Hudson with her little, like 2-year-old
But, like, the
hands or
sound
whatever.
effect they used for that is just so cute. It's so dissonant to the rest of the scene.
Like, she's an adorable
and
little girl, but, like, she's just
Hudson's
racist.
just, like, forced to, like, go about his own.
Hudson looks really sad as he just
Yeah.
like backs off, and it starts to rain on them.
Well, it's because he failed in
Uh,
his mission.
Like, the rain was too much. Like, they
Yeah.
already established everything, and then on top of everything else, it just suddenly starts raining the moment Hudson's standing there looking sad.
Like, it needs the kids to like really understand at home that like, hey, this is a sad
Rain-
scene, so it's raining on them. Now.
Rain is a really prominent theme this whole
I did notice
episode.
that.
Yeah.
It keeps raining on them.
And
Thunder.
I like that. I like that. There is a lot of rain and thunder
I
in this
just feel
episode.
like-
And
Sorry.
it gave about this whole like I lost my train of thought. It's fine. Go ahead.
I just feel like during the earlier scene, Hudson should have approached me like, you should head inside. It's a storm is coming or something like that.
Oh, just establish that it's going to rain before it rains.
Yeah, instead of just suddenly having it rain at the exact opportune time with no warning whatsoever. Would have been very easily
I think
solved.
this episode goes like by the rule of drama. I think
It
like
does.
it doesn't need to make logical sense because a lot of it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, literally, that's how the writing is for the entire first half of the episode, because it's like, okay, we have to set up this whole scenario, and then we have to show all this, but we have to somehow get there
And then we'll
first,
spend the
so
rest of the
let's just
episode
write
with
up a
just
bunch...
walking around. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get there.
This...
Um,
Okay.
but obviously, okay.
So
I feel like this is probably stretching this like episode to the limits that it should be stretched to, but I feel like when Hudson has to back off after Princess Catherine like punches him a bunch of times, that this is like a metaphor for like gay civil rights. Because as we know, like during the AIDS crisis,
Oh my god.
gay couples, like if one of them was hospitalized, if they got sick, they weren't legally recognized as like spouses, so they couldn't have visitation rights. So Princess Catherine forces Hudson to. Why are you? Why are you pulling
Yeah,
me away?
I'm-
No, this is valid. This is
I'm
is
doing
real.
that same thing, Haran.
This is-
This is real
Listen,
life.
I'm
like,
trying
like,
my best here.
I like this though. I like this whole like
will
this
not
issue
be
into civil rights you're
silenced.
getting from this one interaction with the bitchy royal
They're
daughter.
obviously husbands.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, why is he warning their daughter about the
How does
gargoyles?
that play into this metaphor?
It's their sexy role play that they do.
Oh my
where
God.
Hudson's like a scary monster who invades his bedroom, and
That's his
that is
kink.
his kink. But he's involving his daughter in it, which is weird.
Why is this conversation happening?
Look, I don't know. He started it.
Okay.
Who do you think I'm addressing?
I'm not taking the blame for this at all.
No, this one's not on you. Unlike many others, this one is not on you.
It's true. It's real. It's valid.
It's
But
usually
so
me.
that's the end of that scene. The view shifts to the clock tower, present day. The sun is setting. We see all the gargoyles roaring and flexing, and looking super hot actually as they all come to life. And, like, you know, an episode is sort of padding for time when we see each of the gargoyles separately, like, do their flexing thing and roar.
Yeah.
I noticed they do that a lot early
Yeah.
on, but then sort of stop like the longer the series goes on. But it does let us see like
Well,
other
because it's like
individual,
we know.
O faces, because that's sort of the faces that they make.
I didn't take notes on how they woke up. The only thing I took notes on was the fact that Lexington does this really adorable thing where, like, after he wakes up, he just kind of sits on his booty and he, like, scratches the back of his ear with his
like
leg
a little
dog.
puppy dog. Like you can see most of his
Yes,
ass
it's-
too, because like these loincloths
can.
don't cover very much.
No.
No, they don't. That's what loincloths. I mean, they're supposed to cover little, but they're loincloths.
This show made
they
me
don't.
gay. And it was
Yeah,
scenes like
same.
that one, just Lexington just falling back on his butt and then just scratching his ear with like I don't like. Ugh.
My entire sexuality revolves around Hudson's like medieval fishnet leggings he wears under his loincloth. How I just want to like tear him off so I can finally see like the old
What
man
his
thighs I
legs
rightfully
look like.
deserve. Yes, I need to see Hudson's bare
What's he trying
legs
to hide?
at least once. I don't know. I guess, like, I said this before, I think it's because, like, the animator's just like, oh, well, they're all naked. I don't know how I feel about just having, like, a fat, naked old man running around all the time. It might affect the kids a little too much. It's like, we have, like, big naked men just flying around the city. I don't think that, no, we'll put pants on him, like medieval
he's
leggings.
He's the only one who dresses in a respectable manner. And even he dresses like a slut.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm the most attracted to Hudson out of everyone in the group,
know.
in the main Gargoyle
Because
group.
he's so good looking.
Yes.
This is a good episode for, like, Hudson watching. If
Me.
you.
It's
Yeah,
for
it
me.
was made
This
for
episode's
you.
for me. Yes. So, anyways, they all wake up and they talk about going to go get some
gonna
breakfast.
get
Goliath
blintzes.
notice.
Linton.
I
Yes,
totally don't know what
they're-
the fuck a blintz even is.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what
like
that
a
is.
Jewish
That's like,
pastry.
it's like a
thing.
pancake.
I was gonna say, how do you
Is-
not know what blitzes are?
oh.
But I didn't realize they were actually Jewish only. That explains a lot.
Yeah, so you knew what it was.
I did. I
was
didn't even
like,
think
I don't know.
twice about
I
it.
have but that just goes to show that, like, Broadway is already, like, officially, he knows more about, like, 20th century food than I do already. Like, he's all caught up.
Well, you have to remember,
Well,
he's
that's
in New
because
York.
the-
In New York, there are a lot of Jewish bakeries. For some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
They're hip and they're young and they're in New
Yeah.
York and they're like always looking for. It's like, what do they do? How do they know about these bakeries? Do they eat there? Do they have like
steal. They
people
probably,
that know
like,
the
go
Gargoyles?
dumpster diving and just get food that way.
Oh,
I honestly don't know how they get food.
it's
I assume they
fine.
just steal everything. They're actually criminal masterminds.
So, Goliath notices Hudson is, he seems introspective, he says, and he asks Hudson what's wrong, and Hudson is looking off to their old castle in the distance, and he says he's just dreaming old
Yeah,
dreams.
that's a nice line.
But it's like, it's nice, but then it's like, this episode puts into perspective that their old castle is literally right fucking
Yeah,
there.
and they have to
like
look
they
at
can
it
see
every
it. It's in
day.
viewpoint. Like, not even that. It's just like it's so close, and like Xanatos' whole thing is like he's trying to give away the Gargoyles' new location.
But he never sees
Not only-
them just on the clock tower, the very prominent clock tower.
He never looks out the fucking window. Like he's always that's his
But I mean,
problem.
does Xanatos ever actually try and find out where they live?
I don't know if he. Well, yeah,
In the
the
last
edge he did.
episode-
Oh,
He was
I
trying to follow.
Yeah.
them. Well, at least that's what Goliath assumed that he was doing, because Xanatos wants to dominate them.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Like Goliath
As
makes
soon
that
as you brought up
assumption,
the
but I'm
edge.
not entirely certain he was correct. Just going by the rest of the series, Xanatos has no interest in where they live. If he was, I think the way he was going about it, from what I remember that episode, would be that he only wanted them to think he wanted to know where they lived in order
Oh my
to.
god, it's such a Xanatos thing to do.
Yeah.
So
Push
we pan to Elise's apartment. She's putting her gun down and she's putting her badge in her front coat pocket that we see
This
carefully.
is my favorite scene
And
of
like
the
lit-
episode, by the way.
like literally Demona crashes through the
fucking
fucking ceiling
dive bombs in.
and shoots Elisa with like a fucking dart,
Uh-huh.
like a poison dart, like.
And Alisa's trying to reach her gun that she left on the table, but like Demona like picks it up and like crushes it in her hand.
Yeah, I noticed that. And then Demona's like that's a poison dart. In 24 hours, you'll be dead. My first thought is, what the fuck kind of poison takes 24 hours to
lot of
work?
Very specialized poison. That's
No,
A lot of them.
no. A lot of poisons would take anywhere between 24 and 48 hours to fully pass through your system.
Why do you know so much about poisons?
Why do you know so much about this?
Because I read a lot of fantasy.
Okay. But yes,
okay.
Demona says, "You've just been poisoned. In 24 hours, you'll be dead. I have the antidote. Tell Goliath I'll be at the Old York Opera House in the village." And then she sort of shrugs and says, "Ciao," and just flies back out the window.
That's so like out of
It's
character.
the ciao
I
that
don't
does it for me.
like that's not something she
It's
says.
so good.
Well, I mean, she did spend time in
Oh my
Italy, as
God.
we later find out.
I
It just shows like
guess.
how little she values Elisa's life. She's like, yeah, I just fucking killed you, and I don't care. Bye.
I don't even know if it's that. I
Like,
don't know. It's just a
it's
weird.
such a wonderful
Everything
choice.
is happening so
I fully
fast.
support the writer's episode for this one particular scene. 'Cause
See,
it's
I have a
wonderful.
scene like that
Okay.
too, but we haven't hit it yet.
So the dart didn't even fucking hit her because she has her badge.
Right,
and
yeah, and
shit.
actually, like, it made, like, a clanking sound when it hit Elisa, but I just didn't, Demona didn't notice that.
I didn't even notice that.
Nah, I didn't even
I
notice
noticed
that.
it.
Of course.
I guess I'm the most observant out of all of us, including
See,
Demona
okay, because
herself.
it's like I forgot this episode, so watching that and just seeing like the dart didn't even fucking work, I was just cackling. I'm just like, oh my god, are you kidding me?
Honestly, I really enjoy that choice because I don't think I've ever seen another episode where someone gets poisoned at the start, but it doesn't actually even work, and that kicks off the plot.
Yeah, I actually really like that about this. Like, okay, well, we're gonna find out in the very next scene that Goliath and Hudson are gonna go and like go find Demona because she has the antidote, but they don't actually need the antidote. So like, they're just going to like basically just fuck Demona up, so she doesn't pull this shit anymore. I just thought that was
So literally how I wrote it in my notes is that she informs Goliath and Hudson what had just happened, and Goliath is about to like I guess go fuck Demona up, and then Lisa's like, "You guys don't even need to go though."
yeah.
'Cause
She's
I'm
like,
fine.
You don't want the.
Hudson brings up the very good point that if they don't go, then Demona will know her plan failed.
Right, and she'll go after Elisa again. So they're gonna like
Yeah.
stop her now from doing
Like again, Hudson's just spitting straight up facts. Like at first, I was kind of on Elisa's side, but then Hudson points that out. I'm like, oh, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, but then
But hold on, we need to back up to the beginning of this
oh my
scene
god.
because Elisa shows up at the clock tower in a very mysterious Batman's cowl-shaped throne.
Did you notice that she's sitting on an enormous throne in this scene?
No, I didn't.
Like, we don't know. Like, why is there a throne there? And like, where do they get it from?
But the best part is, as soon as the camera pans away, and then pans back to to where she just stood up from, the throne is gone, and it's back to it looking like it normally does.
Look, sometimes sometimes a queen needs her throne.
Like, I agree, but I'm just. Where did the
Don't
throne...
worry about
like,
it.
Okay,
It's
like
fine.
I get they needed a place for her to like be sitting, but like she could have been sitting in like Hudson's armchair, which they've already established is here and exists. I don't remember seeing this throne ever again. Like I hope that we do because it was amazing. It was very large.
I'm gonna have
very
to go
tall.
back and find it because, like, I don't remember seeing
Like
that.
it was very dramatic looking, but I'm like, why is that there?
I was gonna say, you didn't even notice it the first time. You noticed it when I was
That's true.
rewatching
Yeah,
it.
you pointed it out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Oh my god. Okay,
I don't know.
Back to their conversation though. So they're like debating what to even do about Demona, because like I think Broadway or someone is like, okay, but like, what do we do though? Because we can't lock Demona up here because we don't have a prison cell in the clock tower.
Goliath is saying this to himself. He's like, we can't lock her up here, and I don't even want to discuss the alternative.
Yeah, but like you have to discuss it though, because otherwise, like, what is your plan? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I put in my notes. Oh no, my emotionally compromised borrow lead man.
I know, because like he still wants to like
Well,
make Demona into a good person.
that was what his
Like,
decision was. He can go
I
and
don't-
reason with her.
Yeah, but that's not gonna like.
I don't
Goliath.
care
You're so
what
fucking
anyone
stupid.
says. Hudson, in my opinion, is the best leader.
Like
Like,
I
at the
sort of
moment.
agree from this episode, because you were
Yeah.
telling me before that this episode actually shows him like in a leadership position, doing a really good job.
Literally, the episode ends on we'll talk about that later. Whatever. But
That's one
yeah,
of the reasons
no.
I dislike this episode. Because, like, yeah, it ends with, like, Hudson stepping down from leadership, but this episode didn't effectively show, like, why
No,
he
it
would
didn't.
do that. Because it seemed like he was doing fine.
Yeah, that I like this episode because it shows him in that position, but I hate I also have a love-hate relationship with this episode because of that. But yes. Okay, so Hudson, who honestly has like the greatest common sense in this situation, informs Goliath because he's the leader. He's responsible for the rest of the clan when he's debating about because when he's debating about Demona, and Goliath proposes that it's possible that he could like reach her.
Yeah, like with the power of love.
And I'm just like, bruh. I think that's actually what happens when they first like see her or something.
They don't even get a chance. So I think she just immediately starts shooting at them.
Yeah.
And Goliath just gets hit like immediately.
No,
like
he gets it on like the third shot, but yes.
I'll get into that in a bit when we get there.
And
but
then Hudson's
just
gonna have to fucking pick up the slack.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, exactly. And Brooklyn shows up and he's like, I want to go with them because, you know, revenge
He
after
wants to
she
just
tricked
fucking
me in that
kill
one
her,
episode.
which, like, honestly, like, mood.
I guess, yeah, but it's like, Goliath immediately shoots that idea down, and because, you know, he's like, oh, Brooklyn's too emotionally compromised after what happened with Demona, and I'm just like, you
Like,
know,
you're
look
not
in a
Goliath.
mirror.
Both
I
of
mean,
you are.
I guess it's because Goliath's. I guess it. Oh wow, I'm lisping. Let me drink some water really quick.
Drink.
Okay.
Drink.
I took a little sippy sip. I guess it's because Goliath is just like, he's the quote leader unquote that he has to go, and it's because she asked for Goliath in specific.
Well,
but
it's
it's like
every team-up episode that they've had so far, Goliath's always been teamed up with someone else. So this is the Hudson team-up episode, so we can't just leave Goliath home.
Yeah. And he does ask for Hudson to go with him, and Hudson has, like, a surprised Pikachu face for some reason.
Well, I think it's because this is, like, the first time that Hudson has got to come along. Because every other time he's like, Hudson, guard the clock tower. Hudson, guard our home.
So stupid.
This time, Brooklyn has to stay, which I was like, fucking good. And then Lex and Broadway are like on escort duty, like protecting Elisa.
Let's just take the member of the Gargoyles with the most experience and the most wisdom and never do anything
never let
with
him do anything. And also the dog is here. Is Bronx even in this episode? I don't even remember him.
No, he's not.
Where is he?
They forgot about him again.
See, this is why we forget that Bronx exists all the time. Just the show itself forgets.
Yeah.
I thought that goes hand in hand, I think, with a lot of Gargoyles fans.
Just wait until you have to review A Bronx Tale.
I can't wait till we get to that.
Oh.
Okay, so they fly over to the Old York Opera House, which I didn't look up this place. I assume it's a real place. I haven't been there. I don't know. Hudson gets on all fours. He's sort of like whittling his ass around at Goliath while he's like examining these claw marks and being like, "Oh, Demona's been here."
Yeah.
And then Demona just shows up with a laser rifle.
Like the lightning hits and she's like right behind them, but they don't notice. And then they go a little closer to like this chimney thing, and then she's on top of it with a laser rifle, and she tries to shoot at Goliath, but she misses, and he trips. And I swear to God, we see his just full bare ass when this happens.
We do see it. I zoomed in. It's his entire butt.
Yeah, like
cheeks,
it's right there.
Everything. But okay, you mentioned the lightning, by the way. I do have to give this episode something, which is that the lightning effects look really good in it.
I think the rain and the lightning look really good.
Yeah, I don't know what technique they used in animating it, but it looks like they applied an effect like directly to the cells. I want to say,
but they also did it to the backgrounds too, because the backgrounds are affected in unison.
Like, it looks really good.
Oh, listen to that.
Like, I'm fully willing to give this episode kudos where it merits it. Okay. I loved the chow scene. This episode has good things about it.
So what happens next is Demona's about to shoot Goliath, and here's what I wrote in my notes. You can read this for yourself. Like, Goliath literally just stares at her blank face.
They don't even animate him.
Yeah, Demona is like all like she's got this evil like psychotic smile, and Hudson's all like scared, and he like is trying to jump in to save Goliath, and
Which
pretty
is
much
like the
Goliath.
previous scene where he had to protect Prince Malcolm. It's
It,
a reflection of that.
Goliath gets shot into like a nearby wall, and then Hudson and Demona face off briefly. Demona shoots at Hudson, but Hudson's sword, I guess, deflects the
I
laser,
fucking
and then
hate
it hits
this.
her. It hits her directly,
Okay,
but
you
like
could
she's
see
not
that he
wounded
was
at
deflecting the
all.
sword, the laser blast, like off to the side. So that's one thing. Another thing, I think his sword reflecting the laser blast in the first place is really fucking stupid.
No, it isn't.
It's
That's how
stupid.
lasers work.
It's not how they work.
It is how they work. Do
His,
you not understand how lasers work?
his sword shouldn't have been that reflective.
But like his sword is reflective enough; he can use it as a mirror.
Look, I don't know enough about lasers to complain about anything that happens in that.
I
Scene,
know enough
so
about
it's
lasers to know that that's one of the more reasonable suspensions of disbelief that was asked over the course of this episode.
There was a cool shot where like Hudson's holding up his sword, and you can see like Demona and her gun like in its reflection. It was very
that was such a
anime
good shot.
looking. I did like
Yes.
that a lot.
Yes. And so what bothers me is that Goliath gets hit by a laser and he's like wounded the rest of this episode. But
Oh, yeah, that's
Demona
another
gets
thing.
hit by her own laser and she gets knocked off the roof and
Yeah,
she's
she
fine.
falls like screaming off the roof, but then she like just gets right back up.
Well, I'd like to
Like,
point out that it was
she digs her nails into the wall.
when you reflect it with something that is not perfectly reflective, like a sword, it would be diffused and not as powerful.
Oh well, we have the laser expert here to tell us about the lasers.
So there's actually a bit of reasoning why that would make sense, because it's not a perfect reflection.
In video games, when I reflect something, it always hits at full strength.
Guess what?
This is a children's cartoon show. I feel like it should go by video game rules,
It doesn't.
which usually it does.
I can't believe I'm the one mediating all
We're
the.
gonna have a fight,
Oh.
like, right here on the couch.
It's usually
How
me
dare
that
you.
starts
I'll
like.
tell you about lasers now!
Like, if you're gonna yell about something that isn't scientifically plausible.
Like, that's usually my forte, is the thing. But here, I just kind of... I kind of just didn't mess around with my notes. I just got to the basics.
Anyway, okay, so Hudson picks up the wounded Goliath. He's, like, putting his arm around him, and he's, like, leading him away, because Demona's, like, getting back up to them, and she has a bunch of lines. She's like, "Well done, old soldier, but you're only prolonging the inevitable." And then Hudson says something like, "I could say the same to you, lass. It's not that long till sunrise when we'll all change. And tomorrow night, when Goliath awakens, healed, he'll make short work of you." So they just have to, set the premise of the rest of the episode, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate Demona this whole episode, I have to say, because she's just, like, constantly, while she's, like, hunting them, berating them, and specifically Hudson for being an old fool, just talking about his
His age. Like, she's ageist
his
in this whole
age.
episode.
She's ageist this whole episode, and
Which is funny because she is, like, 1,000 years old herself.
she's technically older than Hudson. So,
But I guess,
why?
like, physically, she's like, "You're old, you're weak." It does seem like it's really out of character.
Yeah.
I also feel like, just in general, her lines don't seem like they're, like, written for her. Like, most of, like, Demona's episodes are, like, tailored, like, to her character. In this one, it seems like she's just saying, like, generic bad guy lines, I feel like.
Yeah, no,
In
absolutely,
the present,
I agree.
yes, but in the past, she's some good lines.
Yeah.
I think maybe they were originally going to write this episode about another antagonist, but they decided to write it about Demona instead
that would
because they
make
wanted to
sense.
find ways to include her more.
Yeah, like, it just seems like she's, like, a stock villain here, which I'm not really a big
Yeah.
fan of. I don't really, like, understand even her motivation here, because she's gonna kill these two. She's trying to get Hudson onto her side. Like, she keeps, like, being like, "If you join me, then I will lead the clan." Like, I guess she wants to take over the Manhattan clan now. Like, I don't even know what she's doing. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Like, her motives confuse me.
The only motive that makes sense is that she sees Elisa as a threat and tried to kill her. The rest of
Yeah,
it
but
is-
like that's because like of sublimated jealousy, which she won't
Yeah.
admit to.
exactly. Like that part made sense.
That part makes sense to me. It's just the rest of it, I'm like, Demona, like, what are you even doing right now? Like, girl.
So, Demona gets back up to the roof, and in order to escape, Hudson and Goliath end up jumping through like a window pane leading
it's
to
like a
like a
skylight
theater set.
thing.
They fall through a skylight and land on a theater stage, and they break through the theater stage and they land into like a place where like a bunch of like crates and background props
Yeah,
are
this
for the
is, like,
theater, I guess.
Big prop room, I guess. Yeah, and like there's like a giant Viking like lawn ship here. I don't know what opera they were doing. I guess it's one of those Viking operas.
They were probably reenacting one of Wagner's operas
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff. Probably the Flying Dutchman, actually.
It could be.
Yes, yes. But anyways, she jumps down and is like beginning to prone around for him, even though there's a huge fucking hole right in front of her, where they fell through. And meanwhile, in like the prop area, like
Yeah, 'cause they
Hudson
fall through like
is.
2 floors to get here.
They do. And, like, on the bottom floor, Hudson... Okay, so something I have to point out that starts from this point is Hudson is constantly, throughout the rest of this episode, dragging around Goliath,
This weakened,
touching Goliath's...
moaning Goliath.
touching Goliath's boobs.
He's like his one hand is like glued to Goliath's chest, like the entire rest of the episode.
It reminds me of that scene in, like, Blades of Glory, where it's, like, Will Ferrell is, like, trying to convince, like, the other guy that he didn't sleep with his girlfriend, but, like, the whole time he's just, like, realizes he took his hand off her boobs, so he puts his hand back on while he's trying to convince him that nothing happened. And this is, like, that I don't know, it resonates the same energy here.
I feel like the live center of gravity is his chest, and Hudson knows that, so he's like,
It's
I
like
gotta
his
hold him
source
by
of
the
power.
pecs. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you can always tell his emotion by looking at his chest. And most of the time when it's puffed out, that's when he's at full power.
Yeah, but right now his boobs are like deflated because he's been weakened.
No, his boobs are never deflated. It's like they're just like kind of like, you know, they're like, he's all shuddery and they're like shaking a lot.
Ooh,
And
gotta hold him steady then.
gotta hold them still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. Yeah. And like, what did I put in my notes about? So like, they're hiding in some crates or something.
Okay, I do have one thing while we're talking about how Hudson keeps dragging Goliath around by the boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one constructive criticism for the showrunners if they ever choose to
Oh, no.
remake this episode. But Sid, I think
Okay.
you're going to agree with me on this one. Is that instead of dragging him along like this, like basically like arm in arm, what if Hudson had
Oh,
to
no.
sling Goliath
Oh.
like, over his shoulder
Oh
and
my
was carrying him around
god.
that way, like the entire rest of the episode?
Oh,
Like one
that
hand on Goliath's
that
like,
would
ass
push
to hold
that would
him,
push so many buttons for me.
and Goliath's just like
like-
moaning. I think that would probably make this episode like go up at least one loincloth in our loincloth ranking for me.
I don't have a fetish, I swear. Like, I don't have a thing for weakened, vulnerable, muscular men.
Maybe that's why this episode doesn't look that good. Is that's how it was originally, but then it was like too sexual, so they had to go back and change it to this.
I feel like I could, like, reverse and forward, like, some of the scenes where he's dragging Goliath and make it look like they're having sex.
Like, I'm surprised you haven't already done that.
I can't believe Hudson and Goliath fuck so much in this episode.
I can't believe it's not butter.
So, a weakened Goliath is, like, telling Hudson to just leave him there.
Okay, they have the
And
same
Hudson-
conversation like 8 times in this episode.
And Hudson is just like, never, and then the Titanic theme starts
yeah,
playing.
and then they kiss.
Yes. Oh my god. That pushed a button. I'm gonna have to write some fan fiction.
Oh my, it could do.
Like, because this is such a, you know, character in peril, like, fan fiction. Like, you know, this is almost like fluff in the making, like, where the two lead males are both, like, cornered, and they have to, like, you know, talk about, like, their last, like, request for them, and
Yeah,
he's
they
just
have,
like,
like, a
leave
heart
me,
to
and he's
heart.
like, never. Yeah, so I'm editing this episode back. I think the term I was actually looking for was like a bottle episode. But I remembered that Brooklyn and Lexington kind of had their own bottle episodes. That's the term I was looking for, though. I don't know if fluff fan fiction is really the right way of saying it. Hope you're enjoying the episode. Yeah, this is like some fan fiction in the making right here. But that's
I
all.
think it's nice too, like how often Goliath is the damsel in distress in this
I
show.
know it's
Like
so.
it's nice.
It's
for
very
me.
there's subtext. Okay, uh so we're not even halfway through this episode yet, and so much has
We're halfway through
happened.
my notes, so I think I must just take less notes as the longer this episode goes on. But
And
another
flashback
now.
happens, and it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
annoying the routine with the flashbacks, I have to say. Because
What about them?
we're constantly going back and forth,
Oh
and
yeah.
I mean I kind of like it, but it's like at the same time like it kind of ruins the flow for me.
Well, I do like how the flashback and the present day stuff does sort of like it keeps like swapping their themes between each other.
Yeah.
Like I think that way they do a pretty good job, and like they even have several scenes that like seem very similar to each other.
So, as soon as we get to this next flashback, we immediately see the guard captain again. But
Yes,
for
our
some
boy!
reason, he doesn't have his handlebar stash that he usually has.
Well, this is his younger self.
No,
so
but
he's not- he's not
we
quite
see it
as
on
daddy
him
as he
later.
usually
So I
is.
think they just
Oh,
forgot
do
to
we?
animate it in this
Oh,
scene.
like Dingo's mustache?
Yeah.
Just keeps appearing, disappearing.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's like another layer of animation. I think is the facial hair, or something
Maybe.
like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because it probably moves like independently of the rest of him sometimes.
That makes sense.
I feel like one of these days we're gonna see like Xanatos' like little goatee just like floating in midair, just like Brooklyn's glowing eyes.
Oh yeah, that did happen that one time.
Oh my god!
We also see the Magus, who's like a young whittle twink at this point.
He's like a
Twinkier than usual.
Yeah, even
Yeah, I
twinkier than
guess.
usual.
And
He's telling the Prince Malcolm, who is like, okay, they're around Prince Malcolm's bed. I assume this is like all of Prince Malcolm's lovers who are there. And the Magus is all like, you've been poisoned by a magic spell. Even though it wasn't magic at all, it was just a random
No.
fucking dart.
What she said? What he said was, the dart you were poisoned by was enhanced by magic.
Okay, he does say that, but like, hear me out on this one. Do you think the Magus is full of shit right now? And he's just like, he's new at his job. He's just like, if I tell them it's magic, they'll believe me because they're all idiots. So like, I can just seem important this way. Or he's so incompetent, because you know the Magus is a fucking incompetent idiot, that he just thinks it's magic and it's not. Like, he can't even tell what the fuck is magic and what isn't anymore. He's so bad at his job.
I think hamburgers and cheeseburgers go really well with fries.
Fuck the Magus, he's horrible.
Yeah, he sucks.
But that Prince Malcolm anyway, he'll die by sunrise unless they find a cure.
Yeah.
To this non-magical.
He
yes,
needs
magical
he needs the
illness that he's
Ganorum Arcanorum, which the the Archmage has. And
Every time they say-
Catherine is like scolding Hudson, saying it's all his fault. And Hudson
Okay.
even
I
uses
feel like
that.
at some point, like, I don't know. I just want that at some point Hudson to be like, it's not my fault actually. Like, your father's an idiot, and so are you. But he never says that because he does blame himself.
Yeah,
for
he
what's
uses
happening.
that to beat himself up about it some more, which is so like distressing for me to watch. And like even as they're like escorting her out of the room like a minute later, like she just gives him like this like really nasty like snot-nosed brat look.
Giving him like a death glare.
Well, that's how I
Hudson
read
just
it.
looks sad about it. Yeah.
Like it,
And Prince Malcolm here is like, we know it was not your fault. She doesn't understand. And I'm just like, yeah, Prince Malcolm, because you haven't explained it to her, because you're an idiot.
because you're an asshole, and Hudson deserves love, and he deserves hugs, and he deserves like just like so much good shit to happen instead of everything that happens in this episode.
He deserves to get a rim job every night for the rest of his life.
I would treat his butt
From the
like
captain of the
like royalty.
Oh my, do you think that's why the captain of the guard grew his mustache between scenes?
No, I don't think that, but I mean, anything's possible, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so it switches. Now Hudson is up on a tower somewhere, and there's a scene where the younger Goliath and Demona show up. Because Hudson had sent for them. And Hudson outlines the mission that they're going to go on. They have to find the Archmage and steal the Grimorum Arcanorum from him. So right now Hudson is actually the clan leader. Like Goliath, I guess, is the second in command. Demona is
something.
The evil lady who follows behind them. Saying things.
So he requests for both of their help because they're the most prominent warriors, and they're also like his right hands at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Demona immediately starts in her bullshit though, because she's
she starts getting
whispering to Goliath. She's like, "Perhaps it's time he stepped down. I've never seen him look so old."
Like, he looks so young in this flashback too, which is so stupid. Like
he looks fine.
He looks fine. He's hot. Okay, he's sexy. He's I'm just so tired of the standard stereotype of old people being treated as old people and not for the sex gods that they could be. Like,
he's a dilf.
This is Hudson is an attractive man. Bottom line.
Yeah. Oh, bottom. Yeah, he is a bottom too.
Yeah, I headcanon him as one, but to each their own.
Just one thing. The only difference I think that Hudson in the past looks compared to himself in the present, he doesn't have the scar over his eye.
Actually, I noticed that he has
at
more.
This point.
He has more hair on his head in the flashbacks than he does in the present day.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in the present day, he's like kind of balding a little, but in the flashbacks, like it's on most of his scalp.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that part.
I mean, he's only 5 years older in Gargoyle years.
10. Oh yeah, in Gargoyle years.
Math.
Because
Okay.
they age half the speed that humans do.
So, in the flashback, they head out to go do that, and then in the present day, we get a few...
Oh, well, okay, before we get there, Goliath does refute Demona when she's like, he's so fucking old. He's like, his age brings wisdom, that's why he leads.
Yes!
He's got a really good dick that I want to keep jumping
See,
on, so
people
maybe
should
don't mess
be...
that up for me.
I know Goliath, I complain about him sometimes, but I think if people were more like Goliath, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
I'm...
Completely. Like, complete agreement.
Yeah, I feel like you don't agree with me.
I know that I do agree with you, 100%.
I feel like you're secretly like, oh, I think Demona is a queen.
Oh my god. Okay, Demona is something to strive for. But would the world be a better place if we were more like Demona? No.
No, not at all!
Does she have her moments? Yes. Oh, yes, she does.
Especially, like, in this episode, and a lot of other episodes. She's a villain.
She's a bad person.
She's a bad
so we go back to the present,
mama.
which is much less interesting than the past.
No, I don't know if I agree. Because...
Good.
Right, okay.
Let's have a healthy
There's
debate
not
in the
there's
marketplace
not
of ideas.
much going on when we go to the present, except for these long drawn out scenes of just Hudson managing to drag Goliath's hefty ass around and out the
his big
window.
muscle butt.
His big muscles and everything. There are a few couple shots where we see just how big Goliath's ass is. And it's nice.
Yeah, Goliath's just like behind it, like pushing the ass, like go faster, Goliath, through tight chutes and chasms
I have
and such.
Goliath's behind his own ass?
No, Hudson's pushing the ass.
Oh, you said Goliath was.
Oh. You know what I meant.
He's just like pushing on his own ass, and he's like unknowingly fingering it. He's like, work, damn it.
Oh my god.
Go faster.
Demona's just up there saying, like, her stock villain lines, like, Goliath's time is over. I'm the leader now. Swear fealty to me, and you'll live. And Hudson's just, like, fingering the ass, like, as hard as he can, like, oh, go faster, lad. If I push in more, you'll... I don't know.
They're just, like, desperately trying to fucking get that out of the way before they sneak out the window and into the sewers.
Yeah. So Demona says something like, "I'll just rake this whole room with my laser cannon. You'll die anyway. So there's no point in you hiding."
You
But,
die like
then
the cowards you are, and then she starts blowing
Yeah.
everything up.
But Hudson and Goliath do like get out in time, so they don't die.
Yeah, she sees like the open window nearby, and she's like, "Oh, clever old fool." It's like
clever old fool.
it's like so contradictory because it's like, how is he clever and a fool?
Goliath and Hudson have the same fucking conversation again. Where
Yeah.
Goliath is like, "Go away, leave me," and Hudson's like, "Never." Then they make out like for the second time.
There's so much tension between Goliath and Hudson this whole episode, and I'm living for it.
They escape down into the sewers, which Hudson has like a penchant for going to sewers. I'm noticing. It's probably because he's so dirty, but so to
Dirty
keep
old sewer
Goliath
man.
like distracted from his imminent like demise, he starts telling him telling the story, and it turns out just be like another flashback to the same flashbacks that we've been going to. But we see Hudson, Goliath, and Demona in the past. They find the cave where the Archmage lives. The Archmage doesn't have a name, by the way. He's only the Archmage.
Yeah, just he's like the guard captain, but he
Yeah.
starts to attack them with spells, and then we cut back to present day again. See where it
You
gets
just skipped so much.
What happens?
Wait, hold on.
lot
I think we skipped
happens.
I'm pretty sure we just skipped my favorite line of Demona's this whole episode.
Okay, well they go into the cave. Well, first Hudson does something where he like wiggles his ass at Goliath again, and he's like they sort of conclude that the Archmage knows they're coming. He's set traps for them. Demona starts down her bullshit, where she's like, "You're younger, stronger. He should be following you." And Goliath's like, "Shut the fuck up. Like we're busy right now. Like maybe bring this up like a different time where we're not on a deadly mission." And then they go into the cave.
Oh, wait, hold on. But you're skipping my favorite line.
Okay, what's your favorite line?
Which is, Demona looks completely disgusted at the two of them, and she's just like, I don't know who's the biggest fool here. Him for leading us, you for following him, or me for not ditching you both.
Yeah, she does say that.
That does sound
But, like,
like
I don't
very-
even like that line, because I'm like, Demona, like, you're just being sort of bitchy right now.
Yeah!
Like, we don't
Yeah.
want this from you. We don't.
But like, it's a very typical good guy sort of line. Which
She
is
literally-
why I like
That's
it.
true. Yeah, it does show that she's, like, you know, on the same page as they are at this moment. Like,
Yeah.
they're having their banter, their repartee.
I do want to point out that she kind of stole the line from Obi-Wan in the first Star Wars movie.
Does he say something like that?
Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows? And then he's talking about like Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Nice. I guess she's a Star Wars fan.
I mean,
More likely, Obi-Wan stole that from... Oh, no, they're in a different galaxy. He couldn't have stolen that from her.
anything's possible. I'll write it. I'll write the fan fiction.
Plus, that was a long time
Anyway.
ago, remember?
Oh, in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
I do notice that Goliath is a lot less, like, scowly in the past. He'd more, like...
Well, it's
just
because he
doesn't
wasn't
really have a
traumatized
personality
yet.
Like, he's just really bland looking, though.
He's just.
And,
This
like,
is
his voice
before the
always just sort
trauma.
of, like- yeah, but he's just... he seems like a really boring character at the moment.
Well, I that's just how TV show writing be. I've noticed that with a few shows I've been watching on the side that like sometimes, once the character goes through their arc,
Yeah,
they
you
become
gotta fuck the character up to make them interesting.
yeah. Like I've been watching The Sopranos lately, and that's
boy.
definitely a thing. Very different show, but very great. Also a very
I
great
was
show.
just
That's
listening to a
different.
very long discussion about the ending of The Sopranos.
I have
Yeah,
not
that's
finished the
weird.
show yet, so
It's a lot like End of Eva, from what I hear.
yeah, it's the right.
I don't know anything about The Sopranos.
The writing is very good, and it's very
about?
violent.
While they're in the cave, they find a bunch of like sculptures in the wall that look like, I think they come from like a variety of different cultures. Like I'm not sure. Like they could be Mayan, like African, from Easter Islands. Like I'm always really intrigued by this scene because like we don't know what this stuff is, and like neither do the gargoyles. They're sort of looking at it like, what is this stuff? But Demona reacts really sharply to one of them. And it looks like a man with a spear stabbing like a dragon, maybe sea serpent. I don't know, and I don't know why she reacts to it, but she gives like this really like sharp like indrawn breath like when she sees it, and I don't know why.
I didn't take notes on any of this, so I mean, feel free
Well,
to just take us along.
It happened. Then they find a place that looks like the Temple of Doom from Indiana Jones, and the Archmage is just like
Okay.
there, and then he starts casting lightning bolts at them.
This is where I was talking.
This is where now we can rejoin.
Yeah, now we can rejoin. So, like, as soon as he starts attacking them with, like, spells and lightning bolts, we cut to Goliath and Hudson still wandering around the sewers. And I have to say, like, even though, like, these are supposed to be sewers, it actually looks very
Before we go to
clean.
the sewers, though, Goliath and Hudson both get, like, blasted off a cliff, and then return to the presence.
Oh, okay.
I just had to stop.
I'm sorry I forgot that little detail.
Also, before, like, the Archmage was just shooting lightning, like, on his own, now it looks like he's, like, casting it from the Grimorum Arcanorum itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Please.
he needs that to use magic, I assume.
Yeah, I guess it's, like, his conduit, but he didn't need it before.
I mean, the Magus,
whatever.
whenever he uses magic, it's usually from the Grimorum Arcanorum.
Maybe
Ganebina.
that's why the Archmage had to use the giant blow gun that he had, because he only had enough juice in him for, like, one lightning bolt without the book.
I don't
Coming up
know.
with head cannons.
Anyways.
The dart, which was not magical in any way at all. It was
Anyways,
just
there's this
regular
really, like, cool scene. Because, you know, earlier Hudson says, like, if we go together. Like, he's definitely not going to leave Goliath behind at all. And there's
Yeah,
this really cool
just like
scene.
when we have sex, lad. When we come together.
And there's this really cool scene where they get, like, up to the runoff, where, like, the water from the sewage is, like, flowing into the down, like, river or whatever you call it. I don't know. I'm not an expert on, like, sewage mechanics, but,
I guess it's like a drainage tunnel? I don't know what it's
there's
called.
a long...
Yeah.
I've seen them in a lot of shows, is the thing. I guess they're
Yeah,
pretty
but,
common.
like, what are they, though? It's a thing.
So,
It's a sewer waterfall.
Demona has them cornered at the waterfall, and she's, like, pointing a gun at them. And Hudson just, like, stares her down. It takes Goliath, and they both just go right over the fucking waterfall. It's
And
so
Demona
fucking
looks-
cool.
She looks so shocked that they did that. Like, she's amazed that they didn't just stand there and, like, let her shoot them. She...
Like,
Okay,
why...
but, like, right after that, though, like, this is the part that pisses me off the most in this whole episode.
Yeah, I
Because,
think...
like, the two of them land in the water, and then Demona's, like, where they were just standing, like, looking for them. And then a bolt of lightning
Right!
comes down and just fucking zaps
She
her.
gets hit by lightning. Like, okay, thank you, forces of nature, for
Yeah,
conspiring
it's just
against
like an
her.
act of God. Like, this has nothing to do with, like, anything else. And she just, like, flies away, like, back into the tunnel, like, ah! And I'm like, okay, like, what the f-
I'm gonna headcanon that it was actually, like, one of, like, the mystics or something. Like
It was
intervening.
or
Something.
It was Owen. It was Owen.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it
good.
was not Owen.
It was
Are you
Owen.
It
sure?
was not Odin. It was not Owen. It was not anyone. It's
That's-
random bullshit that
Because,
just happened.
quite frankly, it being Owen would make sense given what we know happens.
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of on Huron's side with this.
It's time for another flashback.
Okay, fine.
Fucking this. I fucking can't. The Archmage he's just blasting everybody. Like Frank Reynolds would.
And so we see Hudson is trying to cover behind, like, I think a stone pillar or something in the cave. Or something, I don't know, just some cave debris. But then
Right, but then the Archmage, like, blasts that pillar with his lightning bolts. And I think, like, I didn't notice this while watching the episode, but if you go back to it, you can actually see Hudson, like, get the scar.
I've seen it.
on his
I
eye.
saw that, like, my first watch.
Okay, well, you were more observant than I was.
You're the
that
one
time.
pointing out all the stuff about the blow dart staff. I think you're the more observant one.
How do you miss the blow dart staff? It literally took up the entire screen. It was so
was
bad.
I wasn't focusing on, like, screen inputs. I was just trying to get through the bullshit royalty beginning so I could get to the rest of the episode.
I feel like when the Archmage had the blow dart staff to his lips, that was like sort of recreating like if he had to like suck off Goliath, because we know that his dick is that big.
Not that thin though.
No, it's thick.
Anyway. Demona also gets
so
zapped.
we see Hudson get like fucked up.
Yeah, he gets a scar, and then Demona also gets zapped. But Goliath manages to avoid the zapping and tackles the Archmages. It knocks the book off a cliff, but Goliath grabs the book and saves it. And then the Archmages...
He climbs back up. Demona like helps him get back to his feet.
And then the Archmages fucking, because he doesn't have his magic spellbook anymore, just picks up like a nearby like cave stake and like tries to stab Goliath. But Goliath just
he runs at him with like the stalactite over his head, like screaming. And then Goliath just like steps out of the way. And the Archmage just like falls off a cliff and dies.
That's so fucking funny.
Okay, except he doesn't die. He definitely...
well, you know, that's
it's not like he's rescued
later.
by his own future self or anything. Or something. It still doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I can explain that when the time comes, if need be. But let's just avoid that little bit of spoiler for now.
Okay, so Hudson and Goliath... Oh, wait. Okay, that's all I have on that whole flashback.
Okay, well, they go back to Hudson, and they see that Hudson's like face has been disfigured into. Then now he like looks like twice as sexy as he used to because he has a cool eye star.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like both really turned on by it. So that's how the scene ends.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the present, now Goliath and Hudson have gotten to a graveyard.
Yes.
I feel like I skipped something.
No, they wash up on the shore, and
yeah, how did I not put that in my notes? Okay, do you want to talk about that?
I didn't put it in my notes, but I remember. Yeah, they escape from the river they fell in from the sewage runoff, and then they Hudson like carries Goliath and swims in the water with him. You gotta just fucking commend Hudson for his strength in this episode.
Yeah, but not strong enough to hold Goliath over his shoulder, unfortunately.
No, I feel like that's a bit much for him. And they wash up on the shore, and Hudson actually cradles Goliath in his wings for a good few seconds to warm him up.
Very tenderly. They're both dripping wet.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's like sewage water, but they just draw it like normal water, so it's not gross.
Well,
Hudson is just
not even sewage water, really. They were swimming out in the bay.
They're in the sewers.
No, they were out of the sewers by then.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad.
Hudson is just like the ultimate bro. He'll just like if you really needed to, like he would just wrap you up and he would tuck you in and he would kiss you on the mouth and like he just do it out of just the sake of being a bro.
Do whatever you want him to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He's he's both a sweetheart and he's also a badass, and I think that shows both sides in this coming sequence.
The duality of daddy.
Oh god, yeah. So Hudson and Goliath take refuge in a nearby cemetery, and he stashes Goliath in what seems to be like a crypt or a mausoleum or something to keep him safe.
While still touching his titties like the whole time.
Touching his titties, and some angles it looks like he's copping a feel a little. I mean, who wouldn't? And then as he sets him in the crypt, Goliath informs Hudson, and he's like, "No, you can't face her." And Hudson's like, "Yeah, I can face her, but I can't beat her." Like he's just like acknowledging he'll probably die protecting Goliath
I feel
here.
like he has a good shot at like.
No, actually,
I feel like you could take her under the right circumstances.
See, the thing is, like, he goes into this thinking like, "There's no way I'm gonna beat her because I'm old and worn out." But it's like he fucking okay. So
he sort of wrecks her for a good chunk of this fight.
This is the closest I have seen Demona come to getting killed since like Awakening Part 5.
Hudson isn't fucking around.
Yeah, like he's trying to protect his bro, and he's like acknowledging, like, I'll die protecting you if I have to. So, like, there's this whole fucking amazing action sequence where Hudson is like distracting Demona away from where Goliath's location is, and like Demona's just like hunting him down. She's like, "Come out, you old fool!" And there are several sequences where like he jumps out, he reflects, like he does like a few somersault rolls in the air, reflecting
Yeah, at one
the
time, yeah, he
lasers
like
away.
flips in the air like 4 or 5 times with his sword, and he's like reflecting her laser blasts as he's doing it.
It's so
like,
fucking
it's sick as
badass.
hell.
I love it.
Yeah, like I don't hate this action scene. I think they actually do a really good job with what they have.
This is my favorite action sequence we've covered, actually.
Good, yeah. There's a scene before that where like he hasn't seen Demona yet, but like she, like you see like a statue above him.
Yeah.
And then like you see her wings appear on either side of the statue because she's behind it, and she looks like an angel or like an avenging like demon, basically. And then she's pointing her laser at him. I think the shot looks fucking awesome.
It's a really cool
she
shot.
looks really scary, really evil.
Like,
What the hell else happens here?
this is my favorite action sequence. I love that shot of when like Demona is like hunting for him like through the cemetery, and he's just like hiding behind one of the tombstones like as she's doing it. I love that shot.
Yeah, like at some point, like he flips the script, and then he's the one stalking her through the cemetery, which I liked a lot too. And I think the other like really cool thing that happens is that like she like sees him just in time to like jump as he like slices his sword at her, and like the statue behind her is like chopped clean in half.
Yes!
And you just watch it like
that is the moment. That is the
It was
closest.
so anime.
That was the closest moment Demona's come to dying. Honestly.
Yeah, like he was just going to murder her there.
Like
I mean, they wouldn't have, you know.
What?
Taken, but I said they wouldn't have taken, but yeah.
Oh yeah, because she is immortal, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh.
But he doesn't know that. He's just trying to kill her.
Yeah, I forgot about that aspect, but
I wasn't sure if you guys forgot about it or were just
We
purposely
honestly
ignoring
had
it.
just
I just forgot about
until
it.
they brought it up.
yeah.
Because there's so much of Jomona's backstory to like remember every time.
No,
Yeah, so I
but,
guess if she did
like-
get her head chopped off, I guess it would just grow back. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm
Wolverine?
trying to ask right now. It's like, what happens if like
I
Hudson?
don't know what would happen.
Oh my god. Okay,
It might
so
just rejoin through magic. I don't know.
Yeah, it would probably be weird and gross.
Hudson counters Demona so many fucking times. I love it because there are moments where like she's aiming at him with his gun and he's standing there, and as soon as she pulls the triggers, when he just leaps because he's timing like all the things. He's like in full on.
And he keeps closing with her too, so like she can't use her gun against him. She keeps having to like physically fight him with the gun instead, like swinging it at him instead.
Hudson is just in full on Rambo mode right now. Like you just can't
Yeah.
fuck with him when he's like this.
I wish there were more episodes where we got to see him like,
Right?
let loose.
Like this is why I've begun praising this episode since I've seen it just now, because it's just like I don't see a lot of that, and when it happens,
Yeah, because usually it's like guard the clock tower,
oh
Hudson.
my gosh.
Like, miss me with that shit, like Goliath. I mean, this is why Goliath shouldn't be the leader, because he says shit like that. Hudson should still be the leader.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree with that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when I saw this, when I was saying it was better, like my whole take on it was, you kept saying, "Oh, it's so badly animated," and then I went and watched it. I'm like, for every
Yeah,
scene I didn't like how it was animated, there were 2 scenes I did.
yeah, exactly.
It's
I'm glad.
far better than something like Macbeth.
Oh, I agree
Macbeth
completely.
is a pearl of an episode. How dare you disparage it?
You just like to be contrary.
I'm
Listen,
playing devil's advocate.
you
That's
just
not
like it.
devil's advocate.
You just don't like this episode because Owen's not in it.
Owen isn't in it, and neither is Xanatos, and I do feel like we can feel their absence.
Well,
I need their witty one-liners as all this.
I like Hudson, so I
Because
like.
instead of their liners, really, Demona still being ageist.
Yeah.
She's being all like, "I'm smarter, stronger, and younger than you. Your pride will cost you your life." And then Hudson says, "Aye, but I know something you don't. Something that comes only with age. I know how to wait."
Oh, I
And
love
just
that
then
line.
Is when the clouds part, and you see like The sun is somehow already, like, pretty high in the sky. Like, it's not like it's sunrise.
Which makes no sense, because it's not the sun that turns them to stone.
No, I don't...
It's just...
But
when sunrise
anyway,
occurs.
they just turned to stone immediately right there.
I'd like to point out that Damona's gun turns to stone with her.
Wait, does it?
Yes.
Oh, that's so fucking funny. Their clothes turned to stone with them, too.
Yeah, but, like, Hudson's
Wait.
sword doesn't always turn to stone with him. It depends.
Wait, yeah, no, I never noticed that. Like, their clothes also turned to stone with them. The objects around them seem to turn to stone.
Yeah, wait, there is a reason
Yes.
that Hudson's sword doesn't turn to stone.
No, there is.
I just forget what it is.
Oh, I know the whole story.
Okay.
So the reason it works this way, according to
Greg
Greg Wiseman, this is not actually canon to the show yet, is that there was a spell of modesty placed upon gargoyles in ancient times, which caused anything they owned and were holding to turn to stone with them.
Because apparently they were just naked every time that they would transform.
Yeah, like, they would
Because
turn...
it would destroy their clothing.
Oh
they
my
just can't
god.
help but flex a lot and roar, I guess, when they transform. So they'd always just rip apart their clothes.
That makes
So-
me think.
The reason Hudson's sword flickers back and forth between being stone and not being stone is because in the very first episode he steals it from one of the guard, as you guys discussed way back when.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't actually consider it his.
Uh-huh.
But like based on whether or not he's currently considering it his sword or just a sword, it determines whether or not it turns to stone.
Good job clearing that up, Greg Weissman. I think you just pulled that out of your
Yeah, that's definitely...
an animation
You're
error,
stretching
but,
it.
I will accept that explanation.
Okay.
I do think it's bullshit.
A little stretch there. Kind of a weird flex, but I'll take it.
That wins a Marvel no prize.
But okay, so that
Excellent.
is the reason why Damona's gun turns to stone with her, because she considers it her.
It is her gun.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not like some random gun she took from someone. No, it is her gun.
So, after they turn to stone, there's a flashback sequence that shows that they're able to save Prince Malcolm because of Hudson's efforts. Hudson requests, despite this, Hudson still requests that Goliath becomes the new leader of the Gargoyles, as he was the one who was able to retrieve the Ganorum Arcanorum and not Demona himself. Goliath reluctantly accepts leadership, but only if Hudson stays by his side, as he'll need his wisdom to guide him. They do a very bro handshake, kind of like the one in the Predator movie. I explained the whole thing where Goliath accepts as long as Hudson is by his side to guide him with his wisdom, and then they do a very bro handshake, like the
Then
one...
but like that's right before the kiss, because they're just gonna make out again.
Oh, God, I love that.
Well, like I feel like so like the conditions for Goliath assuming leadership was that Hudson would still have to guide him with his wisdom, which I feel is code for, okay, I'll be the leader if you keep fucking me. Because, like, I need that. And if you won't keep doing that, then, like, I can't fucking lead this clan, Hudson. I need your dick in me every night. And Hudson's like, fine, laddie.
There's just,
fine.
like... I love that there's so many, like, heavy bromance vibes between Hudson and Goliath.
Yeah, I like that it's, like, an intergenerational bromance, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cute. They both respect each other so much.
So, the day passes in present time into night, and they all awaken from stone mid-battle, and Demona declares now the fight ends, but then Hudson grabs her rifle with ease, and he says...
Yeah, he's like, nope.
He's like, yes, lass, now it ends. And then Demona, being the stuck-up child she is... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Goliath literally wakes up next to him, and he asks how he's feeling, and Goliath says better than ever. And as he's saying this...
Just fine.
Just, like, his
And
tits... His tits are so big, dude. Like,
They're back at full strength.
They're taking up so much of the screen. I actually have it as our current chat icon on Discord right now, and it's like...
Oh my god.
That's like just one of his two titties. Like, it's so big.
Goliath, your boobies, they're out of control. But he has to show, like, how strong he's feeling.
Anyways,
Okay, but Demona has to get the last word in. She's like,
Yeah.
You think you've won, but you've forgotten why you came. You're human, friend. By now, the poison has run its course. And there is no antidote.
That's
and she
so
just flies
funny.
away, like, making a Xena scream as she just flies into
That scream
the
is so
night.
weird.
Yeah, it was a
I
weird scream.
cannot replicate it. I think you should put it into the. You should edit it in.
Demona, what the fuck, dude?
But I just love that she, like, Damona's amazing because she set up this whole thing, like Lord Goliath here to kill him, I guess, to save his friend. But then, like, even if he succeeded, there wasn't an antidote in the first place. Like, either way, Elisa was gonna die.
Oh yeah.
Because Demona, like, just wants to fucking kill her.
Yeah.
And I think that's lovely. I think that's a great. I think more villains should aspire to be as petty.
This,
and
yeah,
wonderful
but
as
like the
Demona
rest of this
is.
episode, we were talking about how a lot of it seems out of character, but that's very in character, I think.
But that part is not in character.
Yeah,
It's
I
not out of
agree, I
character
agree.
at all. That's everything with Demona and Elisa
Yeah.
is perfect in this
To
episode.
be fair, only the parts with Demona and Elisa matter to the rest of the show as well. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a funny scene because Goliath and Hudson both know that Elisa's fine, and then Goliath's just
Yeah,
like,
like-
yeah, it's probably for the best. She doesn't know it didn't work, and Hudson agrees.
Like, guys, she's gonna find out eventually. Like, it's
Well,
fine.
no, that's what he says. He says, for as long as we can keep it a secret.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this next scene is something that requires focus. Hudson and Goliath hold hands, and he thanks him for keeping him alive, saying there's no one else he'd rather have at his side. Hudson smiles and says that he thought that his warrior days were over, and Goliath smiles and says, "Nonsense. There are still years of fighting left for you." And it's this
Now
line
that's
here
something
that
to
made
look
me.
forward to. Sorry.
It's this right here that reminded me of just like the recent events with Ed Asner, and that line made me like actually super emotional.
Yeah.
Just
Aw.
and he did. It's funny though because since that episode aired, he still had like over 20 years of work he put into the
Yep.
acting department, and that's what's so admirable I think about Ed Asner.
Yeah.
So after that, they both laugh and fly home together. Episode
They
ends.
fly, like, they literally fly into the moon, it looks like.
Yes.
Because the moon's really big. Also, during that little bromance moment they just had, Hudson is looking at Goliath, like... Did you notice the way he was looking at Goliath?
Yeah.
Like, he has, like, stars in his eyes. Like, he really loves Goliath. And,
He
like,
does.
you can see it in his face
Oh, this
there.
whole
It's just really
episode,
cute looking.
like you could just see, how strongly he thinks of Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe Goliath reminds him of like his younger self, like almost like a son in a way.
Yeah, his son, his bro, his lover, his comrade.
Yes. Even though his biological son is like off to the side actually the whole time, and it's not. I mean, I don't even think I should list that as a spoiler because it's not even addressed in the show. Like
No, it's never addressed in the
Broadway is
show.
his biological son, and neither of them ever find out.
Well, I
Nor
mean,
would they
I
care.
think they know, they just don't care.
Oh.
Like, they probably look at each other and figure, like, yeah, I've probably got his genes, but, like, that's not how our culture
Oh,
works, so it
okay.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's true. I
Like,
forgot about
I
that.
mean, Wiseman has gone on the record saying that if someone were to flat out tell them that as a fact, neither of them would care.
Yeah, they'd be like, okay.
That's it's interesting.
Is this supposed to matter to
I
me?
think it's sweet because it's like it just shows that gargoyles together, like they're all like family, regardless of titles or biological genetics. Like family is what you make it, and I think that's also a big reason why I just love just the gargoyle and their like culture so much.
Yeah, it's such a good theme of the show, and I always enjoy seeing it. presented.
Except in episode 1 when Brooklyn said they called each other friend and not had
Yeah,
names.
because that was fucking stupid. and I
No,
hate
but
that.
I kind of got the same vibe from that, and that's why I like that scene. Okay, so all in all, I like this episode a lot.
A lot. Well, okay. How
I
much
did.
you rate the episode? Huh? How much did you rate it then?
Okay, so
Loincloth.
so
Many?
hear me out.
6
Um,
out of 5.
Jesus, no, not
You
that
like
much.
it that much?
No, I have not rated a single thing. I have not broken our rating scale yet for a single
No,
episode.
yeah, we can't break the scale ever.
We'll see.
That's not allowed.
We'll see. But yeah, what I liked about this episode is just how much dynamic they finally show in Hudson's character. Like, we knew it was there before, but like actually seeing Hudson in action and doing things that, you know, most characters haven't even amounted to action wise is just amazing. I like seeing his leadership skills. Just Hudson, and just I think like just his whole character is what makes the episode so enjoyable. What I didn't enjoy, like we said earlier, some of Damona's motivations were a bit off. Like I mentioned before, it's almost like they wrote it for a different character completely.
Yeah, I think I agree with that a lot.
Yeah.
In that just didn't seem like herself for a lot of it.
But that's really my only main complaint, to believe it or not. I would rate this episode a decent 4 loincloths out of 5.
Oh my god.
All right. Well,
This is really contentious.
I'm gonna give mine next, I suppose. 'Cause
Yeah,
I have
go
a feeling
ahead.
mine's closer to his than yours will be.
You can, do what you have to do.
But if
Follow your heart.
I was planning on rating it at 3 out of 5 loincloths.
Okay.
It does have a lot of good segments, but I do feel like having an entire major character out of character for like 90% of her lines is not too much of an issue to put it up to 4.
That's fair.
Except for the Chow part, that was perfectly in character.
See,
And
that
beautiful.
made me smirk a little on the inside. Like
I,
was
I
like,
really
yeah.
enjoyed her saying "chow."
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. I thought about giving it a 1.1.5 loincloth.
That's the lowest you've given.
I'm saving my really low ratings for season
Oh my
2.
god.
Well, I thought that, the animation, while it was ambitious in parts, and they did pull off, like, a nice fight scene at the end, it was, for most of the episode, it didn't thrill me, and I thought Demona was really off, and I just thought,
You were
I liked seeing Hudson, like, get out of the house, so to speak, for once, and, like, do stuff. I wish that was more the norm, but I didn't feel like this episode, like, really served him that well.
The
It was
negative
mostly, like,
to you
ageist stuff.
you couldn't look away from the negatives to enjoy the positives pretty much.
Yeah, like, it was, like, I still definitely liked elements of it.
But you didn't like
yeah,
it.
I think it was, one of the weaker episodes of season 1.
Like, I still think this is a better episode than
Enter
The
Macbeth.
Edge.
Or
I think
Edge,
is
yeah.
definitely a much better episode than this one.
Disagree completely.
I think maybe I hold the animation quality to, like...
Yeah.
I
I
put
do.
more stock in that than the
You,
two of
you're
these
like
two.
one of those gamers who, like, when there's a new video game coming out, you're like, how good are the graphics, though?
Oh man, this is 60 FPS. That's so cool. 1080p, yo.
Like,
That's
the graphic... Here's the thing. To me, I don't feel like the animation quality can be worth more than 1 loincloth's worth of the...
To me, it's like at least 2 loincloths. Because not only is the animation quality, like, just make it look nice, but, like, so much characterization is put into it. Like, if they have extra frames to work with, you get to see the characters, like, be so much more lifelike. And, like, just their
yeah.
interactions that they do with each other and stuff like that.
But
like
I feel-
Lexington scratching his ear, I thought was so adorable.
But there was a lot of
If there was
little
more
things
stuff
put
like
into this
that.
episode. Even though it was kind of meh in terms, they still snuck in so many good little things into the animation.
Yeah.
I mean, they used what they had. I just wish they had more.
I mean, you know,
I just don't feel like this was an averagely animated episode. Not
I agree.
great,
It's like
not
an
a bad
average
one.
season 2 episode.
Honestly, for
Yeah.
me, I always appreciate it when the episode animation is very good. Sometimes that'll lead me to go to a perfect rating. But like honestly, I think I value entertainment over quality. So even if an
This episode
episode,
didn't really entertain me either, because I also feel like one of the things that I felt like they kept having the same conversation, like, over and over and over
yeah,
again.
I mean,
That also bugged me.
I mean,
Like, I think because they kept flipping back and forth from flashback to present, and, like, every time in the present they'd have to, like, reestablish what was happening. I was like, yeah, I know, guys. Like, this was, like, 5 minutes ago. Like, I can remember this. It's okay.
For me, I think what really just made me actually impressed with the episode. It was just the whole final act of it, which was without a doubt my favorite part.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't mind Hudson and Goliath like saying the same thing over and over because that's in character for them. Not only is it in character, but I like seeing that they have this kind of like ride or die bond with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I
They
personally,
both want to protect each other more than they want to protect themselves, which is very sweet.
Yeah.
I'm personally like I would out of all the characters, I feel like Demona in the past, it was very nice to see how she isn't that different between now and then, even though she's like evil, quote unquote. Now, like she was always had this sort of a personality.
Yeah, like at
But,
her
like,
core,
you could
she's still
see
very
it as-
similar.
but- They managed to make it feel like a heroic personality without changing who she was.
Yeah. It's more like the negative parts of herself have been like exaggerated so much over time. So like now that's like all she can focus on. But like yeah, like I love how Demona's treated in this whole series. Like she's so three-dimensional all the time. So you know, I did like seeing her in the past. At least she had lines this time. Unlike another time we'll see her in the past where she has like 2 lines.
So we got
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I know.
have we got all our ratings out there then?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've said all I have to say.
What was your rating
Bullshit
again, Haran,
episode.
for the episode?
3.
Oh,
said
3.
He
Okay.
said 2. You said 4.
So yeah, so we have a range.
2, 3,
I guess
4.
The average is 3.
Yeah, I think this is the most disagreed we all are on an
Good.
episode.
We should disagree more often and fight each other.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty centered, but you two are.
Yeah, you filthy centrist.
Yeah, okay. So,
What's the horniest moment?
I was about to ask that.
Well, I mean, I have to throw out the obvious first candidate, which is when Goliath dives out of the way of the laser gun and just fully exposes.
Yeah,
his entire
no,
ass.
we see his
Big
ass.
muscle butts
Like, there's
just
no-
out there.
There's no,
And-
like, underneath. Like, it's just his bare ass.
And then the second one I have to throw out is, and it's not a single moment necessarily, but it is Hudson cupping Goliath's boob.
So
Yeah.
much. It's like I've got to hold this for you. Like maybe because it was so much bigger when Goliath woke up. Like that was because Hudson had been like storing his energy inside the boob, like a Dragon Ball Z episode. Like Goliath's boob is like a spirit bomb, so he has to absorb. What the hell am I talking about right now? Yeah, I had that
I
as
don't
well
know.
for mine. I also had Lexington just falling down on his butt and scratching his ears because like
I knew-
it wasn't horny
yeah.
necessarily, but I did think it was really hot looking.
No, that was definitely up there for me. So, what was yours again?
Who's?
Either one of you, because I don't think I actually got an answer.
I don't know. I have 3 of these.
Oh yeah, I was just listing them out.
Okay.
We have to pick though. We have to pick.
Okay, so for
Does
me,
anyone have any others to add to the list before? we
I
decide?
have a few things. So for me, obviously, like second place contender has got to be just the way Hudson is always dragging around Goliath and supporting in this whole episode. Not because that's like a fetish of mine or anything, but I just.
Heavens forbid.
I just, it's something about big guys being like weakened and you're just carrying them around and stuff.
And
Just
being manhandled.
But I think the top moment for me is definitely when Hudson wraps his wings around Goliath to keep him warm. Because not only is that, like, quote, horny, unquote, it's more so sweet than it is horny, but that's definitely the moment that resonated the most gay energy to me, I'd say.
Oh, I think the only other times we've seen a gargoyle wrap their wings around another is with Goliath and Demona too. So like for Hudson to do it to Goliath just shows like how close they are. So for Hudson to do it to Goliath, like sort of like shows like how close they are to each other.
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh,
We
okay.
do see it a couple other times over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One in like 2 episodes or 3 episodes. In a flashback, we see it between, that whole trio of gargoyles who are to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. The Cold Stone Gargoyles.
Yes.
Was it romantic in that one too?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the only other time I can think of is I'm pretty sure we see it with Broadway and another character near the end of the series.
Him and Angela?
Yes.
Okay, so like it's always romantic. I assume that's just because I don't know. Like I assume that the other gargoyles hug each other in non-romantic ways too.
We
but...
also see it between Goliath and Elisa.
We do.
Yes. Do we see it? I feel like we've probably see it with Thalot and Demona too.
That seems likely.
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case.
The only other one I can think of where it might have happened and it was non-romantic, it may have happened between Goliath and Angela.
Yeah, probably. But I guess just like, yeah, like just men on the show just don't hug each other, I guess. Usually, unless there's circumstances that compel them to.
Like this one.
I thought it was nice that Hudson got to touch Goliath's big muscles for the entire episode.
Yeah, he's a lucky man.
How big they are. Big and meaty.
Mm-hmm.
Flesh.
Mm-hmm. So, are we... I think we're pretty much settled on our own choices for horniest moment. So who was the gayest character, would you say?
Do you have any thoughts, Huron?
Can it be anyone other than Hudson?
No.
Is there another choice?
Prince Malcolm is the gayest character.
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew it.
Okay, well, our reason that Hudson is the gayest is that one of his boyfriends is Prince Malcolm now, canonically.
Okay,
so he's fucking Malcolm, he's fucking Goliath, he's fucking the captain of the guard, probably. Like, Hudson got around in the past. Now he's doing around in the present, too. Fucking Goliath, fucking Macbeth. Like, he's fucking Owen, probably. Like, he probably swings by there once a night. Fills Owen's mouth with jizz. Gives him a message from Thanatos.
Oh, God. Oh.
You know?
Please, no! I can't do it. I cannot have this conversation again. I cannot.
He's the daddy bear of the gargoyle community. And he's
I agree. For me, obviously Hudson, but I would honestly say Goliath is a pretty close second place contender because of how appreciative he actually is of Hudson, how much he acknowledges he needs Hudson by his side, how he encourages Hudson to, keep going, and that he has a lot of years ahead of him despite his age. I think that was all really sweet. And Hudson, of course, touching Goliath's muscles the entire episode. That obviously makes him a very strong contender. I almost want to say both of them, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
there's a strong take.
And we haven't really put Goliath up there for gayest character at all. I think that's just because, like, in our minds we always associate him with Demona or like Elisa.
Yeah. Like, Goliath is one of the few characters in the show that it feels very, generally speaking, straight.
I feel like he's straight with women and that he's like a service top, but like at the same time, like every man in the show, like every bad guy wants to like sexually dominate him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to draw on a comparison to the TV show Hannibal with Will Graham, who the creator, Brian Fuller, has stated that he is explicitly heterosexual, but regardless of this, finds he has a strong emotional connection with Hannibal and is smart enough to acknowledge that it leads to romantic feelings. So, I feel like Goliath is kind of in that same category where it's like, it's not that he's, strictly heterosexual, but it's more so, I think with most of the males around him, he's just indifferent. But, when it comes to, like a father or just like a close male figure like Hudson, or someone who's constantly toying his mind and invoking his emotions like Xanatos, like, you can also read into that however you may, because, like I said, Goliath to me reads as a character who is in that same kind of category as someone like Will Graham from Hannibal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in favor of making every character pansexual on this show.
Pretty much.
Like they should be.
Pansexual, panromantic, however you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, I guess Goliath is my contender instead of Hudson, funnily enough.
For Deia's character, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
Huh.
I'm gonna be an odd boy, and
Okay, well, you're wrong, but you're allowed to have your opinion. Should we read out emails?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the
We
last
I
email?
believe we have 3 emails.
So our first email is from Vince Store, titled "Yelling About Episode 11." Hi you two, it's your boy Vin again. I'm talking about episode 11 while it's still fresh in my mind. It was very interesting seeing the episode start with a flashback, one in which Hudson is still the leader. I don't know why it took me a full minute for the fact that this was Hudson's focus episode to click in my mind, but can we talk about the exchange of Hudson saying to the king, hey, can you not tell your daughter that we're scary monsters who will kill her if she misbehaves? And the king with his whole chest goes, oh, don't be so sensitive, like jumbled text. A jumbled text, bitch. I wish you had died. Yes, the key smash is integral. I think it encapsulates my anger towards the man as well. Truly the most garbage way to respond. Yeah, it's so like brushed off. I think I
Is he
mentioned
the
that.
worst prince? He might be the worst prince.
I don't know many princes, but he's definitely
you,
not up
Malcolm.
there. Malcolm, you fucking chode. Okay,
I
but
wish he had died from that poison that wasn't magical at all. It was just normal poison.
okay, but now let's talk about Demona, specifically flashback Demona, because present-day Demona was just walking around with a laser gun and saying menacing things, which was a snooze fest. I'm inclined to agree. I think we all are.
Yeah.
It's really interesting seeing Demona power plays. She's justifying her convincing of Goliath that he should step up to be leader and that Hudson should step down for the whole good of the clan thing, but to me it felt like she wanted power. And, like, she knows because they're together that if Goliath became the leader, she'd automatically gain more power and influence upon the clan. That's actually an interesting way of looking at it.
I can see that, but like I also feel like Demona, like I don't know if she would need to depend on Goliath to do that, or if she could like see his power for herself. But at the same time, she's like a package deal with him at the moment.
Yeah.
So she was probably like, I want my, my boy toy to have more power for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, she would definitely gain power from it, but I also think she does genuinely think that that's what would be best for Goliath and the clan as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't think she was... I think she genuinely believed Goliath would have been a better leader than Hudson. Like,
because she's just, a bad person.
Interesting. Even though Hudson's obviously the best. Anyways,
Obviously the best.
like you said in
He still
episode
leads in
1,
the bedroom, so.
like you said in episode 1, it's nepotism. I think it's really cool that we see this side of Demona this early in her life. To me, it shows that the 1,000 years didn't really change Demona so much as they brought out certain aspects of her into the limelight.
That's what we were just saying.
Yeah, we
it's
were
almost her
saying
exact
that.
word.
Yeah,
These are
Haran
good. I like
Haran
when-
was
I
pointing
like
that
when our
out.
readers agree with me. This is excellent.
I thought Haran had pointed that out.
We all pointed it out.
Okay.
Like, we all said it in different ways. But
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? And why was the princess such an ass towards gargoyles when they literally saved her father's life? I thought it'd be like an, oh, they didn't save him, so now she double hates them. But no, they succeeded. I know I shouldn't be surprised considering how they all treated the gargoyles after they saved them from the Vikings, but still it baffles me. I agree.
Okay.
I was
that's
definitely expecting
That's a
that.
fantastic point. Yeah, so, okay, if the episode had gone, with the prince dying, then that would explain why Hudson would want to step down as leader, because he would have failed in the mission, and it would explain why Princess Catherine fucking hates the gargoyle still 10 years later.
That
Yeah.
That's
that
how the
would
episode
that
should
would
have
be
gone.
And that would have made a lot more sense.
That would have made it all a lot. I would have.
I
that would
yeah.
have made the
Especially,
episode.
like, if they got the book back and did succeed, but they took too long and he died before they got back.
Yeah, that would have been a much stronger episode, I think. I didn't even think about that.
Because it's,
Man.
we know he died before the present day anyways. We never see him again.
We do see him again when Xanatos and Fox go back.
Okay, yes, but that's even further in the past.
Yeah,
than
that's
this
more in the
episode.
past. You're right. Yeah,
We never see him from this point onwards.
right.
maybe they were
In
just
terms
remember.
of actual chronology.
Maybe they were just remembering it differently. What they should have done, because, like, there was no reason for Hudson to step down as leader, as you pointed out in this episode, because they succeeded in their
Well,
mission.
I think what they were trying to say was he decided to step down after he was blinded in one eye because he felt he wasn't physically fit.
Yeah, it was just sad.
What? Oh, I didn't get that at all.
But
Um,
like you notice, his decision changes like as soon as he's like severely injured in the course and has to rely on the others. He's starting to realize his body is failing
Well,
him.
I think, and because Goliath was like Goliath's someone who like had really fulfilled the mission by like getting the book back and just pushing the Archmage
I
off the
think
cliff.
what they
Hudson's
should
like,
have.
okay, you deserve to be in charge now.
I think what they should have done instead was have the mission not work out because of something Hudson did, and then it would have shown why he needed to step down in that particular instance and why he was so, reflective
Yeah,
on that memory in particular. It kind of seems like they changed that last minute, I guess, to ease on the episode. I don't know.
we don't want to make the kids too sad.
Even
But
though
like
we
I don't
literally
think it even
saw
needs to be.
the deadly force, which would have fucked them up already. Why not fuck them up more?
I mean, I feel like the main thing they could have done, just to circle back around to the king dying, if the king died, all they had to show was that Hudson, being who he is, had been very, like, um, conservative in his approach and taken extra time to make sure they weren't walking into a trap or
Yeah,
anything.
and like Goliath could have been like the one who'd be like, "No, we should attack now," and Hudson's like, "No, we must wait because there are traps and we have to be careful."
Right, and then
So at
they
the
ended
end,
up
he could
taking
be
too
like,
long.
Yeah, but
yeah, then he could be like at the end, be like, "You were right, Goliath. Like I made the wrong call, and now because of me, one of my best friends slash boyfriends is dead, and the princess hates us, and will lead to our entire clan being turned to dust 10 years from now." Yeah, so that's why I should step down. He might say.
yeah, but that we weren't given that at all. But anyways,
Yeah. The point is that with some small alterations, this could have been a much stronger episode.
yeah, I agree. And
Admittedly, some of that is with foresight of knowing what happens for the rest of the show and knowing that making that very powerful decision would have actually worked with everything they decided to do later. Because unfortunately, this is season 1. They hadn't laid down anything that was going to happen in season 2 yet.
Yeah, which is really funny to me.
all right, I'm gonna keep reading the email now.
Yes.
And
Okay.
and Demona is so mean to Hudson, and for what reason? I'm not just talking about present Demona. Past Demona needed to put a sock in it. I swear, characters in Gargoyles really love insulting other people when said people are within earshot. It seems first the men at the castle feast, then Hagen's band, and now Demona. Which, yeah, it's so fucking. I agree.
Oh my god, I love how often that happens in this show.
Back to the beginning for a bit. When I saw Lisa just putting her gun on the table, I thought to myself, did we not learn from episode 8, Mazza? Overall, I think this is a great, for Hudson's Focus episode, cool premise. We get some backstory, and just in general, a fun watch, the gay grandpa content we deserve. I agree. Also watching this episode, the only thing I could think of was you saying in episode 3 or 4 that Goliath and Hudson have hooked up, because yeah, they definitely had some wisdom sharing sessions in this episode.
Oh my
Confirmed
God.
it for me. Okay, so, and then he leaves off with, I don't know how to end this, so thanks for the podcast. It's always a blast, and I hope you have a great day. Ciao.
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 Oh my god, thank you so much for your email, Finn. I enjoyed listening to this quite a bit. About the gun thing, I think, like, Elisa, like, she wasn't storing the gun there, she was putting it on the table, like, while she got her other stuff ready, and there was no one else in the apartment. It's like, I'll give her a pass on that one. Like, for the gun safety lesson.
I suppose.
Well, like, she put it down, and then as we see in other episodes, she's actually walking over towards where the drawer where she locks up the gun usually is.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, she didn't put it away first, but she put her stuff down, and then probably was about to go grab it and put it away.
Alright. So, the next email.
So then...
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead. If you
Oh.
want to read.
So, did we read Chris's email already? No, we didn't. This is August 27th. So, hello again, Loincloth Hour crew. Thanks for yet another fun episode of your podcast, and this most recent one was quite special. As I said in my last email, I found this episode to be just okay, nothing really special about it, but listening to you guys discussing and me going back to check it out after listening to the podcast, it made the episode a lot more enjoyable, thanks to keeping in mind the things you discussed. Just the fact
So
that
this must be about the Illuminati episode, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Is that... Yeah.
This episode was entirely the result of Xanatos having a midlife crisis, was hilarious and made the episode all the better, so I must thank you guys for that. I mean, I'm not wrong. He was. That's why everything
That's
in
what
the Edge
episode is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also very enjoyable and even cathartic to listen to Krupp regarding, as he called him, Matt Blandstone. He was so annoying throughout the episode, from his lame quips to complete lack of facial expressions to the rudeness and theft of those binoculars, and then his insistence at the gargoyles being real, because while we know he's right, it's annoying how he thinks they're real because of his conspiracy theory shit, especially considering that we see from his point of view of those binoculars, and the gargoyles and the Steel Clan were just fast-moving shadows, so no way in hell did he see flesh and blood as he claimed. Screw this guy, and not in a fun way. I agree. There is no way he should have seen that shit.
I like that Remy hates Matt Bluestone, like, even more than I do.
I will just say this is probably my least favorite. That is probably my least favorite Bluestone episode, so I'm not going to argue that much.
It's not like there are any good ones.
There's good ones.
There are not.
There's
good
like
ones.
one good
We
one.
went over which ones I think are good ones just earlier today.
There's like one.
Well, we haven't gone over it in the air, so that conversation hasn't happened, actually.
Thank goodness we had Elisa there. It was so relatable to see her being so annoyed at Bluestone multiple times throughout the episode. Krupp's right. Take away his conspiracy theory shtick, and he has absolutely nothing else left as a character. The guy's a non-entity, and just our luck he appears in way more episodes than he should. Ugh. But at least we got a lot of Xanatos being an entertaining asshole, broadly displaying more on how he went from being the fat comic relief to an absolute badass by being the MVP in that fight. Goliath's oddly funny temper tantrums, and Brooklyn and Lexington getting electrocution kink in 2 episodes in a row, and all made better thanks to you guys. And I am most definitely looking forward to next episode. Finally, Hudson gets a spotlight, and he'll be able to shine in his coolness and hotness. Keep up the good work and take care.
Well, Hudson did get the spotlight.
He did. He's always got the spotlight in my eyes. And we have one last one from Vinny.
Yes, another one from Vin. This is about episodes 9 and 10.
So, Sid, thank you for boosting the audio. It's made listening to these past 2 episodes much better. You're welcome. And great job on the editing for episode 10. You've outdone yourself with this one. Adding some music and audio clips from the show made it even more fun. I always like to do that. It's just, with most of the episodes, I always forget to take the time to, like, actually put the episode in my Vegas Pro and just edit it from there, because I use Vegas to pretty much edit everything I ever know. But yes.
Yeah, it's really funny because like, I don't listen to the episodes usually like right away when they go up. Like I might listen to them like a week or so like later because I get very embarrassed listening to my own voice, to be honest. But then like it's always fun when I do listen and I see like the things you fucking put in and I'm just like, God damn it.
I was having fun with our last episode that I put up because I got to reverse our audio for one joke, and then I also got to I got to use the Dominate. Yes.
Dominate.
And I liked using the saxophone when we were talking about how actually good looking Xanatos is.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That was actually a source from some Ethiopian jazz recordings I was listening to the past few weeks. It's very calming. Like, I like the lo-fi quality sound that a lot of old recordings have. So, anyways,
I love it.
I swear listening to this podcast is a dangerous game sometimes, because first it was you talking about gargoyle genitals in detail for 5 minutes, then Krupp's whole idea of Owen's message sharing to make you feel better. Krupp, we share the same brain cell because I had the exact same thought, and now it's Xanatos marking his territory. It's always a riot to listen to, though. Also, sorry you have to... it's fine. We don't mind reading emails. I planned for this one to be read out in episode 10, but I guess the timing was off. The thing with emails and watching the show alongside the podcast is you might not get the timing 100% right. But Croup does tweet out when we're recording for the next episode. So, I mean,
Yeah, I try to tweet out like the day before or so.
Yeah,
to give people
yeah.
a chance. If
you
they
tweeted out, like, what, Friday?
Yeah.
Saturday?
I think so. I don't remember anymore.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I tweeted out something.
We are recording on Sunday. by the
So,
way.
yeah, if you are listening to this and you don't already follow our Loincloth Hour Twitter account, you should really get on that and give us a follow.
Yeah.
We tweet pretty often, actually, with funny jokes, sexy gargoyle pics. We retweet fan art a lot.
We do.
So yeah, just,
I
follow
remember
us.
when I first started the Twitter, I was like, should we, like, retweet not safe for work? Like, are we gonna
We
be...
lasted maybe like 24 hours before we were like,
Yeah,
"No, we're just gonna retweet porn."
we're weak-minded men. We can't stay away from the
Yeah, like
inhibitions of
Goliath.
like we are very, like, as much as we are fans, we are also very thirsty fans. Unfortunately, like there's not a
Sort
day
of our brand.
there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about Wolf's gigantic pecs. And I finally worked in my first Wolf mention this episode.
I'm amazed it took you until like the very end.
I was fully expecting you to say Wolf's gigantic ass.
I mean, I wish we saw more of his gigantic ass. We see plenty of his ass after spoiler happens. But
Okay.
unfortunately, for some people, that doesn't do it for them.
Imagine if the way he like rips his tank top off of his chest.
We haven't
shows it all.
gotten to that
Okay, we
episode
haven't gotten to
yet.
that episode, but you know what I'm
Please
talking about.
don't
Imagine
do
if-
this to me.
Imagine if he did that,
Oh
like
my
for his
God.
pants to show his enormous like ass cheeks and how muscular and buff they are. How would that make you feel? I killed him. He's dead.
I don't know.
Eating crackers.
I'm just eating a potato chip. I don't know what you're trying to
Yeah.
instigate out of me. I'm putting a sock in it, that's all. But yeah, that scene you mentioned where Wolf rips his tank top has got to be just like, that's like worth like.
We're almost there. There's like what?
I
3 more
know, I'm not
episodes?
prepared.
It's-
To me, that is
Yeah,
like
third
the
now.
horniest thing this show has ever done. Like in my eyes, that's like peak Gargoyles horniness. Is just
yeah.
badonkas.
Yeah, well, that's episode 14, so
That's like
very close.
that's like the beginning
so
of season
close.
2, isn't it?
I think
Yeah,
it's the
14
first
is the
episode.
season 2 premiere.
Yeah, and they start season
And
off
we-
2 really well.
We don't see Wolf again until that episode, so it's like
Yep.
yeah.
I think we
They
see
save him.
I think we see some pack members next episode.
I think next episode, yeah, we're gonna see the twins. I think
We're gonna see the twins, and I think we see Fox too.
No.
Oh.
Okay,
Wait,
so
do
ju-
we?
I don't know. I feel like we only see the twins. but
No,
I
we
might be
do,
wrong.
because Fox shows up when Elisa goes to interview her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay,
So-
yeah, I remember that.
We were just talking earlier about how Fox doesn't show up.
That
again
was
in
the
this
part where
season.
she's like, David Xanatos is the most brilliant man alive, or whatever the hell.
And
she
that's like
says.
the only hint we get for what's coming in the second season.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't think we see Dingo or Wolf again for like the rest of season 1. They're just like
No, we don't.
they're off doing prison stuff together.
They're off. Okay, Dingo didn't go to prison. Wait, did he?
No, Dingo didn't go to prison. That's the whole plot of
Yeah, but Dingo needs to
Oh,
take
yeah.
his boyfriend out of prison so that he can have
Oh,
prison
okay.
sex with
So
him out
Wolf
of
is
prison.
just like the only one in prison, and so is Fox, but we don't see Wolf for some reason, and that makes me mad.
Yeah, it's gonna be Fox, Wolf, and then I think the twins are in prison because they're gonna get captured. Like,
We don't
next
see
Yeah.
Wolf next episode. Do we?
No, but he'll be in prison when we see them in prison.
Yes.
Yeah, in the season 2 premiere, not next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Anyway.
I
But
guess.
he is referenced as being in jail by the twins.
Okay.
Oh, are they? Okay, I can't wait for next episode.
'Cause
Because it's gonna
I-
be about
'cause
Derek
it-
Mazza. who I
Oh
fucking hate.
God.
But you know what? Maybe
It does.
Maybe I'll see
It
a
does have
full
one of my
lineup
favorite
this time.
Elisa scenes, though.
Awesome.
Oh, please. I know which one it is.
Yeah.
That was such a good
Yeah, I
scene.
love it.
I
We're,
won't say a word about it.
we're
because
gonna
it
be
needs to
talking
discussed in
about it.
detail.
We're gonna
I
be
know
talking
there's a
about it.
helicopter in this
Not that
episode.
Not that scene.
I will tell you once recording ends.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we can leave off the episode there. We had a lot to talk about and a lot we went over.
Before we do, there is one more email that I'm looking at from Vin. He sent 3 emails. First, man, it was a really weird experience listening to my email getting read out, to be honest. I was nervous to even start the episode because of it. Oh, well, don't be nervous, Vin. We love your emails.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I had a positive reception. Also, now I do know that about Broadway's voice, who, in his last email, he did not realize that he shared a voice actor with that
Patrick
SpongeBob
Star.
character. Yeah, with Patrick.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'm going to skip ahead here. Sorry, Vin. Let's see. I don't think you have to dance around spoilers about Owen, because I did spoil myself on that via Tumblr in AO3. We spoiled that in this episode too. Guys, if you're listening to this and you haven't already watched the whole show, just watch the whole show by this point. This is really good.
Yeah.
But sorry for spoiling you to things. We just talk sometimes.
We did not actually spoil that, although we hinted at it stronger than we meant to.
Yeah.
Because someone said the wrong name.
Also, funny story, while browsing the Gargoyles tag on AO3, I stumbled upon a fic, and when it was tagged with spanking, I immediately went to check who the author was, and lo and behold, it was Manicorn.
Oh my god, you found your own fan fiction?
No, Vin found my fan fiction.
Oh, I thought you were just talking. I didn't even know you were still reading the email. What?
So,
go on.
Is this the fic that I commissioned from you?
It must be, because that's the only one I have on AO3. That's Gargoyles.
That's what I thought.
So yeah, that's the one I have with Yama, who's a character who has not appeared yet, giving a spanking to Fang, who's another character who hasn't appeared yet. But yeah, that was the first time that Hiron and I really started talking to each other too. So that's sort of the message is, if you want to date someone, commission them to write a hot spanking story for you, and maybe it'll happen.
I have yet to get lucky, but you never know.
But you never know. Yeah. Episode 9 was a very interesting one. The quality of the visuals is one thing, but the thing that confused me the most in this episode was Goliath, because he felt uncharacteristically dumb. Him mindlessly chasing Macbeth around the castle felt weird, because Goliath's a smart guy, and here he acted so irrationally without any regard for the safety of his other clan members or anything else besides getting Macbeth. And while we're on Macbeth, my takeaway from this episode is that he's literally just some guy. But your hint at his backstory did make me intrigued. Good. I'm glad, because Macbeth is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's actually a good character. He just has a terrible
his
introduction.
Opening episode just sucks.
Yeah.
But, like, I think the next episode he'll be in, I think we'll get more, I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's see.
I'd like to see more of him in that jumpsuit.
Yeah. Episode 10, or as I like to call it, you want to be Iron Man so bad it makes you look stupid. I don't really have much for this one, besides, let's make a drinking game of Xanatos saying, all according to plan.
Xanatos kind of looks like Tony Stark.
Oh, please don't say that.
Why, you don't like Tony Stark?
I hate Tony Stark.
I didn't know that. I don't know enough about the Marvel character.
About who I hate.
Because I don't focus on it.
Every time he says it, I just quote that one John Mulaney bit where he says, "That's what I thought you'd say, you dumb fucking horse." Also, Matt's debut is in this episode, and I know the rant is going to be good. Well, hopefully you were satisfied by the rant.
Yeah, he was pretty satisfied in the email I read a few minutes ago.
Yeah, there's a few final things. Your joke about Brooklyn's burgeoning electric play kink was made even funnier, because the day before I watched episode 2 of season 2, and his choice of romantic pursuit made so much more sense. I've never even thought of that.
Wait, who does he pursue in that episode?
Okay, that's the one where he meets Mad.
Oh god, it's like right after the season 2 premiere.
Oh my. Okay.
Oh god.
No, it's before the season 2 premiere.
No, it's like no, it's not. You're right.
Derek's episode doesn't have any of the other mutates in it.
That's right.
No, it kind of feels like they introduce Derek, but like they don't even do anything with him, and so they just turn him into a mutant furry, and that's just like his.
I hate his arc, and I hate like most of the episodes he's in, but I am looking forward to those episodes for the podcast, because we'll have so much to say about like everything that's
I
happening.
know you don't like the mutate arc, but like, and I really don't like Talon or
Like,
Derek
I
or
don't like
Maggie.
their arcs, but I think a lot of them are really hot.
No, oh my god, like Fane and Claw are just my boys. Like I
They're your boys and their boyfriends.
they are boyfriends. I was actually messaging Remy not too long ago, and he was talking to me about like all the subtext he picked up on regarding like Claw and Fang's history, and he actually informed me of some very interesting details regarding that character that I'm not going to get into right
Ooh.
now because we're not at that episode, but.
Okay, when we get to it, I'm really looking forward to
Okay,
what he has
I'm
to
just
say.
gonna tell them to you now while we're recording, I guess,
Oh my
because
god.
it's
No, okay, we'll save it for later.
no, but it's really good though. You'll want to hear it.
Okay, we'll save it for later. I promise I'll want to hear it after this. I promise. I'm just gonna finish this email. Okay. Thank you for your advice about season 3. I think I'm still gonna watch it because I'm curious about it, and thanks for the comic advice. I'm gonna see where I can find them online. Yes, I'm glad that was helpful to you, Vin. Because season 3 apparently is really bad, but I'm gonna watch it for the first time as well. Uh,
Yeah,
Probably when we cover the episodes for this podcast,
yeah.
if not sooner. And I'm gonna leave you with a question. Would you want Gargoyles to get rebooted and given a second go? And in this hypothetical reboot, what would you change besides the obvious move of the characters being able to be shown as explicitly gay on screen? That's all from me. Take care.
Um. Okay, so like,
This is a tough question.
I'm a huge hipster. Is the thing. Usually when like this is one of my favorite things is being like remade or there's like a sequel coming out like recently with the whole He-Man thing. I'm just like, oh god, I'm feeling so much anxiety about this because it's like I don't know how they're gonna handle it, and that's
Yeah, like, are they gonna fuck it up?
I
Like, are
know
they gonna change stuff that I really like?
I know like a part of me wants to see like Gargoyles remastered and told like accordingly, but it's like I also love the original show so much to where it's like I don't want anything to change. I'd like just a follow up just after the season 3 premiere. I wouldn't want something that's like years later and this is a sequel or something.
Okay, so in that case, you want the comic books to be
Yeah.
animated.
or
Or
s-
you just want a continuation of the comic. You want Disney
yeah.
to like unclench their ass for 1 second and just let Greg Weisman like keep writing the comic books
I
and continue that series.
Like, I won't even touch any remake or reboot if Greg Weisman doesn't have anything to do with it, to be
I
honest.
will agree with that. Yeah, like I don't know if I would want a reboot. Like if Gargoyles did ever get one, I would definitely watch it. But like I would need Greg Weisman to be involved because I feel
Yeah.
like he's the one person who like really understands the world.
I mean, it's
And,
his
like
world.
we know he has this grand tapestry set up already. Like it's set to go.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. I don't know if I want a straight reboot. I might want one of his side projects that he wanted like as a spin-off show. I might want one of those to be made.
Maybe.
Like about the Olympians or like the future one or the one
Or
about
maybe, like,
Brooklyn
Griffin
bouncing
King
around,
Arthur
like, through
spin-off that they
time.
never
Time
got.
Dancer.
Yeah, like Time Dancer. Like I might want one of those to be animated finally. That would be really cool.
I personally would pick Time Dancer.
Yeah, because you
Because-
can sort of cover like everything with Time Dancer.
Yeah.
if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean-
I don't know. Like, would it be confusing for like brand new viewers? They'd be like, "What the fuck is even happening?"
I mean,
Yeah.
all you really need to do is make sure that you introduce what's her face as a main character in like the first episode as the viewer character.
His future wife or whoever.
Yeah, I just forgot her name. Katana.
Katana? I feel like it's Katana.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, introduce her as the viewer character who gets pulled into this.
That would be a good way to do it. Yeah,
And
because
if
then
she's
he
the
would,
main
he would keep
character-
recognizing things, and she'd be like, "What are you even talking about?" Like,
exactly.
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. I'd get behind that, honestly.
But yeah, I like that question a lot. I don't know.
I don't think
If
anyone
the series
really
got
knows.
rebooted from episode 1, like, would I want that? I mean, I would like a show where Lexington is like allowed to kiss his boyfriend and stuff.
Yes,
like
I
that. That would be
am
cool.
also very behind that.
But like, I mean, if I were, there's a few things to change because, like, first of all, you have to change the mutates arc to make more sense.
Yeah.
Secondly, you need to just ditch Cold Stone.
Yeah.
His episodes never do really work, do they?
No.
I forget he exists.
Eliminate like half the world tour arc and just drop most of it.
Thirdly, you need to rework Bluestone because while I do enjoy him, he needs.
He just needs to be more interesting.
Exactly.
He needs to be more interesting.
Make him like a wacky guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He
Like,
just needs a bit more.
yeah.
Thirdly, yes, shorten the world tour arc, or just don't rush the world tour arc. Because quite frankly, like, if they're not going to do, if they was a theoretical reboot, they wouldn't be telling the same stories on the world tour arc. If it wasn't paced, if it was paced out as like a 13 episode season instead of part of a 52 episode season, and they could give it the time and it needed and have more balance with New York stories.
Yeah, I felt like we were with like on the boat for so long. Like we lost track of the trio and Hudson. Like I felt like we just weren't seeing those characters anymore.
Yeah, so
for,
like
such a good chunk of that.
Yeah, I don't think the world tour arc needs to be cut, but because it is super important and there's a lot of good possibilities.
I would try to
there
like
for a
alternate
reboot.
like an episode, like go
Yes,
back and
that
forth.
would
Yeah,
be
I
much
agree with that.
It would be like Farscape season.
I like that in the middle of the world tour arc, like we do go back to the Manhattan Clan, you know, the trio and Hudson and everything, and not only that, but Griff and King Arthur are also there, and they're meeting
that's
them.
one of the best episodes.
I love
too.
that episode, and I love.
So, like, we need more stuff like that.
I love that
Yeah,
they do
unfortunately-
more central stuff with Griff, because Griff in general is just one of my favorites. I think he's a fan favorite all around.
He definitely is.
Yeah.
But like the world tour arc, like part of the problem is, from what we've seen, the production order, the airing order doesn't match. So in the airing order, the amount of time before you see anyone from New York again from the start of the arc
so
is
long.
ridiculously long
Yeah.
compared to what it was intended. Like
I
originally,
remember. Oh
the
God.
3 trips back to New York, because there's 3 of them, would have been spread equally throughout the arc.
Right.
But instead, they all got grouped at the end, and it's like, well, what? And plus, we get Future Tense, which also features the New York crew, and like,
fucking love.
you just get a lot of it just ends up with this like 10 episode gap with none of the main cast shows up.
I think the thing with that, I feel like Disney was definitely restrictive on a lot of creative control regarding Gargoyles. I mean, it goes without saying. I feel like a lot of the writing, especially for the World Tour arc, amongst other arcs, was rushed.
Well, it was rushed, but not because of restrictiveness. We know why it was rushed because they've talked about it.
It was because their episode order, that the number of episodes they were ordering kept changing.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
so originally they were told they were getting 52. They were asked how many. They asked him how many episodes do you think you could write up for the show, and he's like, 52. I could handle 52. He's like, okay. So about 3 weeks later, they came back to him and said, okay, we've decided we're gonna get a 13 episode order for now, and if we want, we'll order more. And he's like, okay, that's perfectly reasonable. So he starts pre-production. He's going. I think it's been about a month and a half of pre-production when suddenly they call him up and they're like, okay, we want more episodes. How many more can you give us? And he's like, well, if I double the scripts and you give me this extra money and it's this and that, I can get you up to 26. They're like, okay. So, all right. So now all of a sudden he's having to rework pre-production again. Fine. I think it's another month and a half later, he gets a call up and then says, you told us you could do 52, right? And he's like, well, that was 4 months ago.
Before I set like all this other stuff up, like writing wise and story wise.
Yeah, that was 4 months
like,
ago,
all
and
these
I haven't
different
been
balls
preparing
are
for those
rolling.
26 episodes. There's no way. And they basically said, no, you're doing 52 episodes.
Yeah, so that's why the World Tour like feels really bloated because they're like he just had to stitch a bunch of episodes into there, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many one-offs in that arc.
Like, we do, from what we can gather, we were discussing it, City of Stone was probably supposed supposed to be the first finale, and the start of the World Tour arc was supposed to be the second finale.
Yeah, like the Avalon 3-parter would have been like the second finale
So,
that they did.
and like World Tour was probably planned for if they ordered more episodes. Like it was probably already planned, but the issue was
Yeah, that's like an extra thing they
like
could do.
they lost 4 months of pre-production work on all of the second half of the season. So all of those episodes were produced with 4 months less time than they were supposed to have, and that's why they feel rushed.
Anyway, wait till we get to the World Tour arc, and I hate every fucking episode we do, everyone.
It's
gonna
not
be
every
great.
episode.
No, I
The
wouldn't
big
say
issue
every
is that
episode.
It's just the first 5 episodes in a
It's
row are
a
bad.
lot of them. Like, a full half, I'd say. I just do not like. But it's fine. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be great.
Okay,
Love it.
so I think that about wraps up this episode.
Yeah, we've been talking for a
We
while.
have,
Yeah.
but I think
I'm
it's...
sorry, Vin, that we read your emails out of order, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sending them,
No,
and
it's-
please send more.
Absolutely, yeah. We love seeing just like the interactions of the emails. I'm sorry. I need to go make dinner in a bit for myself.
Okay.
I'm a hungry
well, let's
boy.
quickly say who the
I'm
hell we
very
are.
hungry
I'm
too.
Croup, aka Manicorn. You can find me on the Manly Unicorn on Twitter, Croup on Fur Affinity, Manicorn on Patreon, and you can read my sexy spanking writings on any of those places.
Yeah. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
So I am Sid or Sydney Darius. I also go by. I'm pretty much a freelance writer, editor, music producer, etc., etc. I'm a college student looking to find good, hopefully a career in writing in the near future. And freelance stuff definitely is something I need to pick up slack on because I've been slacking as of lately. But you can find me on Twitter at SidScripts, which I recently got 500 followers. So thank you,
Nice.
thank you for that. That's the
Congratulations.
most followers I've ever had.
Aww.
I am going through some financial stuff as of lately. I don't have like a Patreon or something like that per se, but like I don't think I should just like take money from without doing something. So if you want to hire me as like a writer or an editor or something like that, like I'm open for messaging and email about that. Thank you.
All right, so
Huron.
that leaves me. I am Huron, aka Pangolin Huron, aka 13333, on sites that will not allow me to change that name because that's just for affinity. But anyways,
Yeah.
Anywhere else you go, it's Pangolin_Huron, and you will probably find me there. I'm on Twitter, AO3, FA, and that's really it.
You should follow
Telegram.
all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all.
Get the complete story.
I guess we're pretty okay people. All right.
Okay.
So,
Which episode even was this? 11?
11.
Oh.
Yeah,
11.
A Long Way to Morning.
Well, no. Long Way to Morning, no article, remember?
Okay. Sorry.
And it's The Long Way to Morning on the DVD, because but only on the DVD. Everywhere else it's just long.
Thank you for parroting my trivia back to me. That I was giving you earlier.
Well, you never said it during the episode, so I had to bring it in some point.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, thank you. Bye, everyone.
bye. Ciao. 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 Ciao.
How did we talk for that? I'm sorry.